guys? We are back. UFC 323, Merab versus Peter Yan 2. Obviously a rematch. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. I'm here with Dravey. And the most profitable bettor in 2025, Lucrative James. What's happening, bro?
Yeah, thank you, bro. Appreciate that, my man. I'm ready to rock and roll, bro, with the BTL boys. I've been watching your podcast for most episodes, most of the year. So it's exciting for me to be on. I think I've been on maybe once before this year or twice. I don't know if we crushed it or we flopped. I can't remember. It's been a good year this year, so we probably crushed it. I know Dravi's got a lot of bets on the line this week, so I'm excited to hear his takes a little bit more than mine, to be honest. I'm not that confident this week, boys. Like, I'm not really planting my flag on too many spots. You know, I feel like they could go either way, the fights. But I'm excited to be on, man. Last pay-per-view of the year. So I appreciate you bringing me on for such a big episode and ready to break it down, man.
It's your last pay-per-view, right? We said we're bringing a party.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Dravi. I'm just waiting for Dravi to cheers as well. Where you at?
I don't have nothing for now, but we're going to see as the episode goes, bro.
We're already just starting. It's all right, man. A few people in the comments, tell Dravi to get his drink on, man. Come on. It can't be just 2 out of 3. It's got to be 3 out of 3.
Yeah, what's happening, JB? Dixon, C. I don't have a rap song for the beginning, but we got the intro going. Jackson, thanks for joining us, brother. Justin, Dravi, the only professional here. That's not true.
This makes me better.
No Coach Key. No Coach Key. Exactly. Gives you the confidence to bet more. But listen, we'll hop right into this card here. Taking a look. First fight of the night we have is Muhammad Naimov versus Myron Santos. We got Myron Santos sitting at -250. We have Naimov at +210. Lucrative, I'm going to have you go first, bro. I mean, this is a pretty decent fight, I think, from a standpoint of Myron trying to take a step up and Naimov, doing Naimov things. How do you think this goes?
Yeah, I can understand people wanting to play underdog shots and make a bit of money off the underdog because obviously Naimov, physical guy, strong wrestler to some degree. I don't think he's the best wrestler, but he's pretty physical in that regard. We kind of saw it in the grad fight, although he was getting a little bit grappled there. We definitely saw it in the Nathaniel Wood fight, who's been on an amazing streak at that weight class, just beating Jose Delgado. So that win, even though he cheated his ass off for 15 minutes straight, multiple cheating attempts and cheating successes, it's still a good win, in my opinion, even with all those cheats. I understand, because obviously we've seen Myron Santos fail twice, even though he only got 1 loss on his record, failed twice, in my opinion, to the grappling, which is against Francis Marshall, and then back in the day against Argueta. So, if you look at things on the surface, you're like, all right, Naimov grappling upside is +200. But I just feel like Naimov, first of all, he doesn't go to the grappling that much. Like, you go back and look at his career, it's not like he's just going out there wrestling all these guys. A lot of times he's staying on the feet, to be honest. And a lot of times he's trying to defend wrestling, like he did against Grad at times. And obviously he got his own grappling success. But I don't think he's going to be able to have success for 15 minutes because I think he's going to gas out if he does that. And if it's on the feet, I got Myron Santos all day. Yeah, I mean, Naimov has these spinning wall kicks and stuff like that, but I just feel like Myron Santos has way more upside in the division. I think he's a way better striker. I honestly think Naimov's going to get knocked out one day, and we haven't seen it yet, but I do think it's going to happen. I don't think his chin or striking defense is the best. And Myron Santos, you could say he's a little bit due a knockout. I think me and Dravi were on him. I don't know if he was as well, Peg, against Sadiq Youssef in his last fight at a pretty close line, -125. We was all on him there. And at the end of the day, man, you can say Sadiq Youssef ain't the best fighter, lost to Edson Barboza. That's still a good win, in my opinion, and probably better anything that Naimov's done in his career. So I got Santos here. I just feel like he's going to, I think he's going to defend the takedowns if needed, and he's a better striker.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And I think a lot of people talking about this week are talking about, Naimov's takedowns or clinch that he can do just because they saw like the Francis Marshall fight. But I think on the feet, it's probably not even going to be close. Myron Santos is young, constantly improving. And for a guy his age, I think that it's pretty impressive that he's 16-1. I think going to the Fighting Nerds probably helped with the grappling with what they have down there. I think this is a good Naimov spot. A good Santos spot. I was looking at Santos at like -170 because this is one of those weeks that you could like watch like 2 weeks in advance, and limits were kind of okay there. But I liked it there. Went into tapes, and by the time I looked back, it was -225. I don't know. I think if you are going to play on Naimov side, Naimov by split decision, odds are he probably weasels his way into a win if he does win. But other than that, I think it's probably a pretty clear Santos side for me. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, it's not a spot where I like the underdog here. I think Santos is gonna roll. Yeah, you've mentioned the fact that he moves to Fighting Nerd, but what about him going back down to featherweight? Because remember, he's young and he had issues with his weight cut. And in his last fight against Sadykhov, the fight was at 155. He was saying that he doesn't know if he's gonna be back to 145 and stuff like that. So he switched camp. He went to Brazil. And now he's in great shape and he's back at 145, which I like better for him because he's a big dude at 145. Sadykhov is also a featherweight, but yeah, so I think he's at the right weight class. He's still young, he's still improving, like you said. And yeah, personally, I think he's very, very good on the feet. Like his striking, he's good. He's a sniper. He's very fast. And one of the big weapon here for me is the calf kick. He's gonna destroy Naimov legs. He's dropped people with leg kicks. He's hurt people with left leg kicks, and even some of the fights he won the distance, he hurt these guys. So I think he's gonna hurt Naimov, and I think Naimov needs to grapple here because if he does not, he's gonna get knocked out. But if he try to grapple, I think Santos gonna be able to defend and get back up. And then I think Naimov's gonna slow down if you try to grapple too much. So I think either way, he's gonna be fucked. And I think as the fight goes, he might get finished. I've seen some things on the, let's say, on the training sparring footage that I've seen about Santos when I did my deep research on his YouTube and Instagram to make me think that I'm not going to say everything here, but let's just say I'm pretty confident he's going to finish the fight. And yeah, there's some juicy props if you look at them.
If Santos gets a finish, you think it's late or early?
Oh, it's going to be later on.
Okay. Champs just chimed in. I don't like either guy. Santos staring match. Yeah, it could be low volume. It happens like that. I also think Naimov's back hair is disgusting. Champs, thanks for joining us. Rory, welcome, bro. What's happening, boys? Niall. Yeah, Drov's going to get a drink at some point. We need Key to even it up two whites and two blacks on the pod.
Who's the black?
Me. Robbie is the only professional here. All right, let's see. What's happening here? I see Merab. Nice, pretty low volume and striking. Rather just pass. I mean, it's fine. At this price, it's minus 250. It's a lot to ask.
Yeah, honestly, it was a 50-50 decision. Like looking back at it, like I don't think it was the worst robbery of all time, like everybody's talking about. But I think Marshall should have won, but it was like a 50-50 fight, man. And yeah, he got hurt in that fight, which was weird because he does not normally get hurt. So I think that changed the fight a bit. And yeah, for what it's worth, I think Marshall is better than Naimov, but yeah.
What's up, Peggy? Drive Lucrative. I have a 17-leg parlay with only Santos, Iwo, Jalen, Duncan, and Dawson. Only. That's like 6. That's a whole parlay in itself left. Does this cash? 2K is the current cash out, but if it hits, it's 20K off $20. I don't know.
I like that shit, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, put your balls on the table and lay it. It's $20. Who cares? You lose $20.
You hit 13 legs already. We ain't cashing out with 4 to go. Get some balls, man.
Yeah, I think you should keep it.
Marshall, Rob. I mean, I had Marshall spread of the week that week.
I think Marshall won.
Time it was a lot. It was closer than I thought. I thought he got robbed when I first watched it.
Same. Yeah. Same.
All right. Next fight here we have is Mansour Abdul Malik versus Antonio Trocoli. So we got a professional poker player versus Mansour Abdul Malik, a guy who might fix fights, right? That's what we talk about. Everyone's talking about the over 1.5 or the one round one, all these different ones that Mansour keeps giving up. Mansour is minus 1,200. Trocoli is plus 750. And then the line on the over itself, over 1.5 is plus 175. Under 1.5 is minus 200. Who's taking the gamble on the under?
I'm not betting this fight. I have a lot of action on this card. I think pretty much almost every single fight, which is not the case normally for me, but this one is a pass. I think Malik's going to smoke him, honestly, but he's just a weird guy to me because, you should smoke guys, but then he takes his times. He's going into round 2 and round 3, and fight he should not go in round 2 and 3s. And Trocoli is still tough. He's not going to quit, but I think Malik can smoke him in round 1. But yeah, he's going to knock him out. It's just of a matter of, what round it's going to be. And I don't have a good read on that part.
Lucrative, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that the way you introduced the fight was perfect, man. This guy's a poker player. It's if you go back and look at his Instagram, right, and I'm going to do some Instagram investigation, the last 20 photos on his Instagram or poker, they're from poker tournaments. They're professional photos from poker tournaments, yeah? The 20 photos before that, he's in the gym, he's grinding, he's in a guillotine and stuff like that. So this guy is checked out of the game now. He's a poker player, like you said. And you talk about fixing fights with Malik. I don't think he's fixing fights, man. I think you have like this portion of the retard community, right, where they're like, oh, every fight is fixed. Every fucking 4 fights an event. No. Yes, there's fixing going on in the UFC. We're not fucking babies, but it hardly happened. It's very rare. There's about 4 fighters or 1-2 referees in the entire industry that fix fights in the UFC. I think people don't understand. These fighters are kind of sometimes just retarded, man. Maybe they're a little bit scared to get in there. Maybe they don't want to get knocked out themselves. Like, boys, I just finished tape for next week's card, right? And I don't know if you've taped this fight yet, but there's Guilherme Pat, who just got signed. You probably haven't even heard of him, right? He got signed from LFA, and he's fighting Alan Fry, who you probably also haven't heard of because he's not even fought in the UFC. Go watch Guilherme Pat's fight against Quiroz, right, in the last fight. If you watch that fight, it's in LFA, you're going to think it's a fixed fight, right? He breaks his nose, and you're going to do tape study for this soon, yeah? He breaks his nose, and then just like lets him off the hook. He's like, doesn't do anything, right? And the guy's putting his nose into place, and the guy's like, he's not playing. If that was in the UFC, you got 100% of the retard community saying, oh, it's fixed, this fixed, this fixed. It's not fixed. It's just, man, they're fighters. Like, they're not the brains of Britain. You know what I mean? Sometimes they just make bad decisions. And I think Mansour has made bad decisions in his career, but he's still won he's won every single fight, you know? So I think in this one, I think he's going to put the fixing rumors to bed, because I do think he's going to get a first round finish. I think a lot of people are going to play the over because Shara Magomedov hit him with the over, because Tresean Gore went over. But I think this is the one that's going to go under. And especially with all this fixing talk, it just seems rife for the under. At the end of the day, man, I think Trocoli's here to get his 20 grand so we can go bet it in Vegas that very same night. And I like the under 1.5 here. That's a bet I'm giving out now. Minus 175 odds. I think that the athleticism is way too much to be betting any over here. So that's my pick. Mansour, round 1 KO.
Yeah, that's actually the angle I was trying to look at, was round 1 KO for Mansour. I was going to wait till Bet Rivers gave it out. I don't think they gave it out yet for this fight. I don't think they gave out a lot of props for this fight for round 1 KO.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is. Yeah, they haven't even given it out yet. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, because I think that's the only way it goes. The only way it covers a minus 1,200 price tag. So I don't know. That's kind of pretty straightforward for me. Yeah, let's see. Miller Lite. Nah, man. This is America. This is what we drink, bro. It is what it is. I love Miller Lite. Mansour Abdul Malik getting ready to bet. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's getting everyone on the over. I don't think Mansour can be trusted against anyone in terms of unders, but he def wins. I kind of disagree. I think that's the only way he covers his price. Way to go, James. Making Sam retard again. We're not PC on this podcast. We don't really care. I think
that a bad word. Is that a bad word? I didn't even know.
I don't think so. But
I kind of think I heard it was in English. That's why I've never mentioned it. But I'm not the English guy over here. So if it's a bad word,
there's a scene from The Office.
Same for me, James. But I heard some people not say the word not say it on streams. I was like, they're saying the R word or something. So I was like,
not where I'm from.
You don't call retards retard. You call your friends who are being retarded retards. That's how you use the word. That's the thing. And that's
I would never call someone with a mental issue like retarded. Yeah, that's proper rude, bro. But if I'm calling an idiot a retard, that's all good, you know.
That's the art of saying retard. But yeah, this is Mansour. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's the gas tank or if it's a training with Strickland overthinking in fights. Dude, he's gonna crush this guy. It's pretty straightforward. Next fight we have where is it? Aslan versus Iwo. I'm gonna butcher this name. Iwo Baranowski. Actually, that's pretty easy. So we got Ibo versus Iwo, 6-0 versus 14-3. Odds in these two gentlemen, you could get Iwo at where are these odds on here? He's minus 190. Ibo Aslan plus 165. Is anyone here taking the dog shot on Aslan?
I'm not.
Not me.
Not me either. And why? Are we talking about the grappling upside of Iwo after seeing how bad Aslan's is, especially after going to Dagestan and then coming back and Elikana out grappling him? Is that what everyone's same thoughts here?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Iwo is like he knocked out a guy badly on the white contender season. The guy he knocked out is actually pretty good. And but that's not his base. He's a grappler. He's a judo black belt, this guy, Baranowski. And he's pretty good on the mat, you know. Good ground and pound, decent submission game. And he has those judo throw, but I saw him go for a blast double legs as well. So we know Aslan is 0 off the ground. I was texting James about this one, and I was like, yeah, you're probably a favorite against this dude in a grappling match. And I was not kidding. I mean, I think this BJJ is very, very bad. I think Peg could submit him as well. So I think his ground game is bad. His takedown defense is okay. And he can maybe scramble a bit, but like if he's flat on the ground or if he gets his back taken, he's really, really bad. And the thing with Iwo is like, yes, he can go to the ground, but he's not like a one-trick pony in the sense that on the feet, he can still win on the feet. He can still knock out Ibo on the feet. Ibo Aslan, decent power, decent boxing. And he has more experience in the UFC, and he's a bit bigger. But I don't think he's good, honestly. And his cardio is shaky. His volume sometimes is not great. But yeah, he's more proven. That's for sure. So I understand why people are betting him. Like, yeah, he's more proven than this guy. But I think Iwo is the better grappler. I know that for sure. I think he can win by submission. I think that any of these guys can win by KO because they both swing. And but I think Iwo can win by KO on the ground and on the feet. And if they go the distance, it's probably going to be a weird fight. But I lean toward the guys with grappling's upside in the decision. So I think I favor Iwo in all three methods of victory here. So I think he should be a decent sized favorite. I think what was the line now? I think it's minus.
He's minus
minus 190. I think there's still value on that. I think he should be around like minus 250. And even the under 1.5 is not bad because I think like it's going to be a car crash. And I bet Kutulaba against Aslan for similar reasons. I know Kutulaba is more proven, but who is he submitted? He's not submitting many people, right? And he submitted that guy. And I just think Iwo is going to get on top, probably ground and pound him, but I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a submission.
James, you feel any different here? What are your thoughts here?
I think he was going to knock him out early or trip him over. I really do. When I look at it stylistically, I don't think Ibo's a great fighter, to be honest. He's got way more experience. He's got better wins and stuff like that. He's a UFC, I won't say UFC level, but like he's got UFC experience. So maybe you want to bet him based on that, but I don't think so, man. He was in Dagestan for his last camp, so people are going to be like, oh, he's got good takedown defense now, but Iwo's going to trip him over, man. Like they don't trip in Dagestan, they do the traditional Russian wrestling. Is different. He was training at Abdul Manap Fight Club, which is actually different from Eagle's gym. It's is Khabib's dad's gym, not Khabib's gym. He has his own gym. So, man, there's some good fighters there. Shamil Magomedov, Rashid Vagabov, some good fighters there. But I don't think that this guy is for real, to be honest. I think he could be knocked out early. I think he quits a little bit in fights. And I think that on the ground, he's a bum. So I know Iwo was plus 250 in Dana White's Contender Series, and it's always a little bit risky taking those fighters when they get a quick win because there was plus 250 for a reason. But Dana White's Contender Series is hilariously mispriced always, so I'm not going to take too much from that. I like Iwo. I think he's going to get on top of him and kill him or even knock him out on the feet.
Yeah, I was deciding whether I was going to parlay Iwo or bet the under. I still haven't made that decision yet. After hearing you guys talk, maybe I'm going to add him to a parlay or something along those lines. But I think that's kind of the way. I don't really see Ibo having a pretty solid chance here unless it's a crazy knockout. Blunt Force says, let's go, lads. Iwo also has built an amateur record of 17-3 before going pro. Yeah, he's a pretty good judo black belt. This is the under here. JB says he heels hooks him. Aslan got subbed by Kutulaba and 0 hard against Elikana. Yeah, I mean, he's a fraud. He got famous for beating up whatever his name, Raquel Cachero, whatever the hell his name was. I'm thinking that's the zombie girl, but whoever the guy who fought last week was. Yeah, so everyone knows what I'm talking about. I will earlier, Ibo late. Ibo Aslan. Yeah. I've seen Ibo trade in with Abdul Malik, so getting some good proactive, getting rocked with big shots, probably. Ibo has never landed a takedown in the UFC. Under 0.5 takedown, 5 of 5. All right. I didn't even know you could even look into props like that. All right, next fight we have here is Jalen Turner versus Edson Barboza. Two guys that have talked about retiring and came back. Edson is 39. Jalen Turner, the ripe age of 30, said he found God. So that's it's a good thing, but it's not always a good sign in the terms of fighting. Jalen Turner minus 300. Edson Barboza plus 250. First look at this fight. I lean the under personally. I think under 1.5 is fine. I think if Jalen Turner finishes Barboza, it's going to be probably pretty early. Jalen Turner round 1 props could look good too. I think he just hits hard. He starts fast, and Edson's 39 years old. Don't get me wrong. He's been on all the steroids, and he's figured out a way to survive consistently. But if Jalen Turner's going to come back and make a statement, here's the time to against an old guy in Barboza. So, yeah, I lean the under, but I'm not playing Jalen minus 300. That's for sure. Lucrative, what are you thinking?
Jalen Turner's hammer of the week, bro. So,
okay.
I mean, look, man, it's not an easy week for hammer of the week. We've been on a little bit of a run, but this is a tough week for hammer of the week, boys. I mean, you go through the card. Who the fuck is hammer of the week this week? I mean, I'm sure you guys got maybe a different opinion. I know Jalen Turner's not the best fighter for hammer of the week because he's a little bit mentally, or maybe not all there, but
yeah.
At the end of the day, man, I watched Edson Barboza live with my man Zar, who's not my podcast anymore. Shout out to my boy Zar. We watched him live in Chicago, and honestly, we didn't have bets on the fight, right? We might have had the under. I think we degen bet the under or something, and we was looking at each other through the whole fight, like, what has happened to Edson? This guy is done. He was getting rocked with short shots up against the cage. He was turning off his body, and then he came back and that. And I'm like, this is Drakkar Close. Drakkar Close never knocked out anybody. Even Beneil Dariush she couldn't knock out, So, I mean, that was a terrible sign for me, boys. And I don't like to go on someone's last fight and say that's the only thing we care about. But if you go back and look at the Lerone Murphy fight, the exact same thing was happening. Lerone Murphy cannot finish anyone outside of Aaron Pico, right? And Amir Khani, right? There's two fighters, but they get finished a lot. And at the end of the day, man, he was almost finishing them as well. So I think Edson Barboza is gone. Like, I think he is gone. Now, it's always risky doing that. I'm going to say it about someone later in the card, and I know someone's going to disagree with me about that one, but it's always risky doing that, right? Someone's washed, someone's gone. But I personally think Barboza's gone. Yes, Jalen Turner's found Jesus. He's found God. It might be a bad sign if he comes back and he's a bit more reserved, but I think Jalen Turner's going to knock him out in the first round, man. Stylistically, that's what I see, and that's what I have to stick with.
Yeah. Drav, what do you think here?
Yeah, I agree with James here. I do think Barboza is cooked, and it's not only like you look bad in fights and stuff like that. It's the fact that he's getting hurt in almost every single fight. It's not only the close fight. The Sadykhov fight, he needs to come back. He got hurt bad, and it's like Sadykhov is not really a big puncher at 145, right? He doesn't hurt many guys like that. He almost knocked out Barboza. Darren Murphy doesn't hurt people like that either. Close doesn't hurt people like that either. So now he's moving from 145 to 155, right? For his second fight at 155 when he's older, when he took a lot of damage. But on top of that, he's fighting the most dangerous guys he's fought in the last years or so, and one of the biggest guys he's ever fought in Turner, who's much younger, who's only 30 years old. So yeah, I get that he retired and shit. It's not a good look. But when I look into the matchup and I did the tape, I was just laughing. I was like, yeah, he's gonna kill him. Like, he's gonna kill him. The only thing I will say is people needs to be careful about this, because if you play the KO on Turner, there's a high chance that he could club and sub him and goes to the ground, right? If you go and watch the fight against, what's up, Peg?
No, he's Lucrative taking a picture.
Oh, okay.
Posing for the picture.
So the fight against Barboza and it was Giga Chikadze, right, that he got knocked out against. Giga basically rolled a choke after he dropped him, right? But he decided not to go for it after, and he got the KO. If Turner hurt him and Barboza trying to shoot or something, Turner is really good in club and sub situation, and he can for sure submit him. So just be careful about this fight. And I know they're kind of making you play the KO because the ITD is juice. Peg mentioned the under 1.5. It could be a good way to go. But yeah, I'm very confident Turner's going to finish him. It could be KO, it could be sub. I lean KO, but it can be both, honestly. And yeah, Barboza his chin is pretty much done at this point. He's getting older, and now he's fighting a big guy who's fucking dangerous. And yeah, Turner's finishing everybody. So when he wins, so even in fights he's lost, he hurt people. So yeah, I think he's gonna hurt him. And when he does, I don't think Barboza is gonna be able to survive like he did in the past.
Yeah. So this guy said Turner ITD, max bet worthy. I mean, if Turner wins, it's going to be inside the distance. He goes to decision. He doesn't really win that often. Let's go hammer of the week. Yep, Jalen New improved, making a statement. That's the goal here. Another great guest. Thanks for the shout out, Cole. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to support us. We do this all for free for you guys. Turnaround ones plus 180, not bad. We'll probably get a little bit better on commercials, unless it is commercial.
It's plus 180 on Bet Rivers.
Okay. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, you sprinkle that and then take the actual under larger would be fine. Let's go hammer the week. Make a statement. We went over that. This is nasty work. If Jalen anything, we should run through Barboza. Barboza's done.
Yeah, he really is.
Ladder the hammer gang on this fight. What was the ladder for that, James?
I didn't know the odds when I did it, and it's always annoying. I got to use Bet Online odds, which is so bad. Yeah, so it makes me look like some fucking shit because I chose ITD, who's minus 200, and I didn't know it was going to be minus 200. So that's a shit ladder. And then the second one is round one at like plus 180 or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's happening? Hey, Woodmaker, thanks for joining us. All right. Next fight here we have is Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira, 14-2. Marvin Vettori, 19-8-1. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Marvin Vettori minus 115. Bruno Ferreira is minus 105. You get plus 100s on some books here. Bet US, Bet 105. Kind of like a straight pick 'em here. I mean, this is a huge step down for Vettori. Bruno kind of getting a slight step up. Vettori's kind of looking washed at this rate, and I hate to say it, but I kind of lean Vettori here in a washed spot. Dravi, what do you think? I think you gave him out as free bet of the week as well. I mean, do you think Marvin Vettori actually steps up and wins? Because I don't think he's looked good since Paulo Costa personally, but this is a huge step down. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so there's a lot to say about this fight. It's kind of a fucking weird matchmaking because you have one of the most durable guy that doesn't finish anyone against a guy who's finishing everybody and never go the distance. So it's a weird matchup in that sense, and it's kind of hard to call because you can make a case on both sides. Honestly, it's a close design fight for a reason. But yeah, I mean, people are saying this week that Vettori is washed, that his chin is getting, cooked soon. He's gonna get knocked out, and yeah, I can understand why people might think that. Like, he has not looked good in a couple fights. But if you put some context into it and the guys he's fighting, I think you can make an argument that when you look into his resume, so he had the fight against Cannonier where, right, he took a lot of damage. He hurt Cannonier early in that fight, by the way. People kind of forget, but he hurt Cannonier in that fight pretty bad. He was almost on his way to finish him. Cannonier recovered, and then after that, Vettori took a beating, basically. But this guy is a dog, man. He's not going to quit on himself. And the Dolidze rematch, it was after a two-year layoff. He came back after a bad shoulder injury and a 2-year layoff of the cage. And he looked bad in that fight, right? He kind of started looking better as the fight goes, and it was a 5-rounders, but he didn't look good. I don't think he looked good in that fight. And then the Brendan Allen fight, he just lost his brother. He was coming back angry, just wanted to bang and stuff. And then in that fight, honestly, in my head, I just thought he looked awful, right? And one part of that fight that is not a good look is that he got wobbled a bit in that fight. But one thing I think people might not know is Brendan Allen broke his nose in round 1 early of Vettori. And I think that might have changed the fight. He got his nose broken in round 1. And then he fought a war over 3 rounds where they both land a shit ton of volume. And they both grapple a bit. And Vettori had some good moments grappling against Brendan Allen, which was one of the impressive part about that fight to me. And even though he got his nose broken in round 1, he still, they still had fight of the night, and it was kind of a war. It was not a great look because Brendan Allen is not supposed to wobble you and stuff like that. But Brendan Allen threw like 250 significant strikes in that fight. Ferreira is not going to do that. And I don't think Ferreira is going to pressure as much as what Allen did in that fight as well. And the other difference for me here, I think Vettori can take down Bruno Ferreira. And I think Vettori, if you look at his last couple opponents, like Roman Dolidze, Brendan Allen, Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. Like, he's fighting guys that are hard to take down, and you should not really be grappling against them. And now he's taking a massive. So you have the wash allegation of Vettori. Like, he's 32 years old, and Ferreira is 33, right? First of all, but he took way more damage in his career, so he's not in his best form, that's for sure. But on one end, if you look at it, yes, he might be declining, but he's also been fighting top 5, top 10 guys for ages, and now he's taking a massive step down in competition, fighting a guy who's like in the top 25, right? A guy who's much smarter than him, who has bad cardio, who can be taken down, who can gas out, who can be finished. And basically, Vettori has an iron chin, and Ferreira's best thing is his power and the fact that he can crack people. I don't think he's going to knock out Marvin Vettori. I don't know why people think that. He might clip him, he might wobble him, but I don't think he's going to knock him out. And he did submit some people with armbar and shit. I don't think that's happening here at all. And I saw Abus Magomedov out cardio this guy, Bruno Ferreira. And, it's not a great look. Abus Magomedov, who was gassed and got hurt in round 2, fucking took him down, right? And in round 3, when he's gassed again, he still then takedowns in that fight. So, and he's not a guy that's looking good in fights when he's gassed or when he get hurt, he tend to quit, right? He still managed to out cardio and out dog Bruno Ferreira in that fight. And I think Vettori is going to land takedowns. And when it's on the feet, yes, he can be hit with some big shots, but I think he's going to out-volume Ferreira on the feet. I think he's going to pressure Ferreira, and he's going to be much bigger. And I think in round 2 and 3, you got to favor Vettori. Ferreira, after 7 minutes, he slowed down a lot. And even if you look into his last couple wins that he had, right, against Petrosian, if he doesn't get that home bar, he's on his way to be down 2-0. Petrosian lost a point in round 1, but he was winning till he got caught, right? Abus Magomedov, he lost. And also, like, we talk about Bruno Ferreira being good in round 1, finishing guys in round 1, but you know what? He lost round 1 to Arman Petrosian, to Abus Magomedov, and he was like, against Dustin Stolfus, he got a first round knockout, but it was not a great look in that fight. And he got knocked out against Ruzoboev, and he got the knockout against Girard, who's been KO'd multiple times. When he loses, he typically get caught and knocked out in round 1, and then he got the knockout against Phil Hall, who's normally getting knocked out when he loses. So now he's fighting one of the most durable guys in the entire division with a very good cardio base, who can take him down and who's going to be there for all 3 rounds, in my opinion. So I do think Vettori is going to cook him as the fight goes. Personally, I think he has to avoid the kill shot early, and he's going to grapple to do that. He's going to take him down, and then in round 2 and 3, I think he's going to submit him. So ball take, I think Vettori is going to put this guy into deep water, find the back, and choke him out.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of disagree with my thoughts. Not in the sense of the side. I think the side is clearly Marvin Vettori just because of experience, chin, strength of schedule. But I was kind of leaning the over. Over 1.5 is -170. Fight goes the distance is +120. I mean,
no, over 1.5 is not -170. Over 2.5 is -150.
No, I was just at the gym earlier, and I thought I saw.
No, I got it in my face. Over 2.5 is -150.
Really? Okay, so I don't know what I was looking at. I was maybe even looking at the wrong. No, it's over 1.5 -175 on Bet Online for Tori.
No,
Peg, I got it in my face.
Bro, I'm looking at it too.
I'm gonna have
You're probably looking at fight odds.
I'm gonna have to.
I am looking at fight odds. That's what I'm looking at.
Over 2.5. Over 2.5. Bet Online official, not fight odds. Old.
Okay.
API.
All right. So I was wrong. So I was thinking either way. I'm thinking fight goes the distance. That's kind of where my head's at, because Vettori doesn't really die. Never has. Never gonna. I don't think. And then Bruno Ferreira, I could just see him punching himself out, lasting longer, and then he's not going to get a sub. Maybe he cracks him once, but like I said, Vettori's not going to go out. Vettori could win over the course of a distance, but I feel like any of the overs seem safe to me. I feel like this goes to distance at a pretty high clip. But if I got to pick a side, I'm probably going to pick Marvin Vettori by decision. That's my guess. Lucrative, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Vettori overs are never a bad shot. I mean, I don't know when the last time the guy went under. When was the last time Vettori went under?
Has he ever went under? I don't even know.
I remember
it was like against Carl Robinson, probably.
He subbed some fucker in round 1. Yeah, Carl Robinson.
Carl Robinson, okay.
Yeah, he subbed that geezer in round 1, but I mean, it's never a bad shot. Vettori overs, right? Look, I think this fight comes down to I don't think it's not about Bruno Ferreira, boys. It's about Vettori. Is Vettori washed or not? That's really what it comes down to. If he's not washed, he's going to win. He's a better fighter. He's a level above. He's performed at a better level his whole career, and he will perform at a better level. When all is said and done, Vettori will be looked at as a better fighter than Bruno Ferreira. But all is not said and done, and we're in 2025, almost 2026, and Vettori has looked very, very bad in his recent fights. Is he washed? That's really what we need to look at. My opinion, the guy's washed, man. Like, he looks washed to me. So because of that, I give a slight lean to Ferreira. I'm not saying this guy's minus 300. I think Ferreira is the favorite at minus 150, minus 175 odds, because I just think Vettori has looked that bad. That's my prediction. So I think Ferreira is going to win the fight, but we'll see.
All right.
You think you finish him or you win the decision?
Decision is plus 450.
Yeah, that's great. That's crazy because he's never been finished. So that's crazy just off the bat, right? How can you be a pick'em and you've never been finished and a decision's 450? At the end of the day, that's the type of spots where you make big money at, because Ferreira don't win the decision, so he's like, he can never do it. But Vettori's never been finished. Jared Cannonier fight could have been stopped.
100%. That was the craziest fight I've ever seen, with him getting knocked around like crazy.
I bet the over minus 180. I look like
I had the same thing, bro. It was a sweat, bro. Oh my God.
It was a sweat, but honestly, his chin wise. Anyway, I won't go into that one, but I think that fight could have been stopped. So if that fight was stopped, from a different referee, are we still having the same conversation? Because the whole thing is like, Vettori can never be knocked out, he can never be chinned. But on a different timeline, we would have been saying Vettori got knocked out in his 2 fights ago. So it's just funny, like the way the lens people look at MMA through, because the whole narrative is Vettori can't be knocked out. I know he's been hurt, but he can never be knocked out. But different timeline, he's already been knocked out literally 2 years ago. So I don't know, man. To answer your question, I don't know, bro. I really don't know if he's going to get knocked out or not. I think he's going to get hurt very badly. I said this in my breakdown earlier, like in the video that'll be out this weekend. I can predict the knockdown. I can predict the punch landing. To predict the actual knockout and the ref calling it off, it's way harder. So I'm going to cop out and take the easy road and say I don't know. But I think he gets hurt badly in this fight.
All right. Vettori may have the best chin in MMA history. Bruno is not a Thibaut Gauthier. The blockhead will survive. Possible.
Yeah, Thibaut Gauthier. What a guy.
Ferreira by KO. I don't even know who the fuck.
I think he meant Ferreira, probably.
Ferreira by KO. I agree. Dravi never picked against Bruno. Dravi, the only professional here. Crazy shit, bro. Crazy shit. I can't wait to hear Peg pronounce Giga's name next week. All right, I'll leave it for that. Dravi, you're saying all these things. You get the line as a pick 'em. Yeah, it means it's probably a value or an edge. Like pick up on the right?
Exactly. The reason why it's a pick 'em is because people are betting Ferreira because they think Vettori is wash. So that's the thing. So like if he's not wash, he's probably minus 250 here, and I'm sure James agree, even though he's on the other side. So it's hard. It's why it's hard to predict. And I play Vettori at plus 100, and it moved to minus 115. But one of these fights like that, you can make an argument on both sides. So the line's going to be close, but the winner probably going to look big value, So
yeah, especially with the over being favorited. So, all right, next fight: Fares Ziam versus Nazim Sadykhov. Nazim Sadykhov 11-1-1. Fares Ziam 17-4. Odds on these two gentlemen: Ziam is minus 133. Nazim Sadykhov is plus 113. I'll go first and give my breakdown. Guys, here's the thing. You have a Frenchman versus a guy in Nazim who's a total dog. The guy in Ziam doesn't want the fight to be dirty. Nazim wants the fight to be dirty. When you got a dog versus a French guy at dog odds, you always play the dog. It's a system play. It's almost as easy as could be. Is Ziam the better striker? Cleaner? Yes. More power? No. Nazim moment winner. Is Nazim more likely to hurt Ziam? Yes. Is Ziam going to have to wrestle? Probably. But in this case, I got Nazim plus 140. I think that line looks great to me. It's in Vegas. That's where he's training. all the upside kind of goes to him. And like I said, I'll take a dog against a French guy any day of the week. So yeah, Nazim dog shot for me. No brainer. What do you think, Lucrative?
Very interesting fight. Very interesting fight. Nazim Sadykhov training with the BJJ GOAT, the UFC BJJ welterweight champion, Andrew Tackett. You know, I don't know if you guys watch UFC BJJ. I don't, but I know Andrew Tackett. So he's 4-0, boys. 4 submissions. So maybe Nazim Sadykhov going to go out there and implement a wrestling game plan. I think that would be probably a decent idea against Ziam, because I do think Ziam is the better striker in this fight. Now, does it mean that Sadykhov can't win on the feet? No, Sadykhov has beat every better striker he's fought, or at least got a draw with them, as we've seen in the fight against Ismail Bonfim. I mean, Bonfim clowning him at times, boys. You know, he's making him look like a bit of a bum. Ignacio Bahamondes Manuel Torres stepping back and countering him, making him look a little bit, you know, clowning him on the feet. But obviously he landed that beautiful question mark kick, and Ismail quit. And then the same thing with Slava Claus. You know, Slava beating him up, but he landed that knockout blow. So the guy's got a will to win that can't be denied. The guy's got some dynamic strikes that can't be denied. I kind of feel like it comes to an end here. I am picking Nazim to get the win. I think he's a little bit more technical, a little bit more slick. But if you put both of these guys' records under a microscope, there's a lot of context between them. I mean, we know Sadykhov was losing most of his fights before he won. But even if you look at the Ziam record, it's not the best, man. I mean, some of these fighters haven't gone on to do well in the UFC. I think Mike Davis was completely washed. And then outside of that, he looked all right in some of the fights. Jai Herbert was a decent performance, in my opinion. Jai Herbert, good fighter. But yeah, I just don't know what to look at. I don't know what to think about it, boys. It's a close fight. It's a volatile fight. I got Ziam. I think he's a little bit more skillful. I think he's better at MMA overall. I think he could even get a takedown or two, not predicting it, but going back and watching his fight against, it's not Adam Fugit, but the guy, Michael Figlak, you know, that guy showed some good grappling in that fight, showed some decent grappling in the Davis fight, even though he was, you know, put in some precarious positions early in that fight. And there was one other fight he showed some good advanced grappling in. I can't remember who it was now. Outside of the Terrence McKinney fight, he's shown quite a lot of advancements in the grappling. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got a takedown or two here. But at the end of the day, man, Sadykhov's the one with the knockout upside and even the submission upside, to be honest, just with how much cardio he's got. And he fought my boy Evan Elder, yeah, and he was 2-0 down on the scorecards. He got a doctor stoppage, but I've got to be careful what I say here, but he was still looking good in that fight, even though he was 2-0 down. Like he just looked like he had a lot of physicality in that fight. I rewatched that the other day, boys. Like, he was 2-0 down on the scorecards, right? But he had a lot of physicality. He was walking forward. He was pressuring. He looked a bit scary, you know, even though Evan Elder's so skillful, boys. And a lot of people don't know about Evan Elder, but he's a fucking really good fighter. And he was on a back foot and he was good high kicks and stuff. And he was fighting really well. But he still lost via doctor stoppage, even though he would have carried on. Evan's a fucking beast, you know, a bit of a psycho, to be honest. But Sadykhov still looked like he was pressuring and getting his game going there. I think Sadykhov's a 5-round fighter, to be honest, boys. I don't think he'll ever reach 5 rounds, but I think he's a 5-round fighter. So yeah, tough fight for me to call. I'm gonna say Ziam outskills him and wins like a 29-28. But I ain't got a good read on this one, so hopefully one of you guys do.
Yeah, I think Nazim. What do you think, Drav? You agree with me?
Yeah, it is a hard fight to call, like James said, because on the one hand, Ziam is the better, he's the better fighter per se. He's more technical, he's cleaner, he's the better minute winner. But on the other hand, you have Nazim, who's a dog, right? Who's going to be pressuring, I think Ziam has the minute upside. He's going to win the minute, but I think Nazim's going to win the moments, right? And one thing I'm pretty sure about is Nazim's going to be the one pressuring and putting Ziam on the back foot in this fight. And so if they go the distance, I think it's going to be close, right? Moment versus minute type thing. Like James says, I think Nazim has KO upside and submission upside as well here. So that's why I lean his way. And because he's going to be pressuring and he's going to try to do everything he can to win the fight. So yeah, if you look into his record, you can say, oh, but he did this bad or he did this bad in that fight, right? There's fighter like that in the UFC. You can watch their tapes and be like, oh, but he almost lost that fight. Oh, he was on his way to lose. But when these fighters win, they have just a different mentality. They're going to do everything they can to win and make it happen in the cage. And I think Nazim is one of these fighters. And Ziam, if you look into his record, now I like Ziam, right? I've bet him in his last fight against Mike Davis as a big underdog. But, Mike Davis, he was pulling guard in that fight. Let's just be real. It was not a great look, a good performance by Mike Davis here. Against Matt Frivola, he looked great, Ziam. But again, we know Matt Frivola is washed at this point. Claudio Puelles, who has no striking, it was a close split decision. Jai Herbert, I think it was a good win, and he looked good against Figlak, who's, I don't think Figlak has win in the UFC yet. He does not. So, yeah, if you look into his resume and his win streak, you can also put context into it, like you can do against Nazim, on the sense that he was losing until he wins. But yeah, I think Nazim's gonna hurt him at some point, and I think he could maybe grapple Ziam. I think Ziam can maybe grapple him, but like if Ziam grapple against Nazim, he's not gonna submit him or he's not gonna top time him. But I think Nazim, if he grapple, he could maybe take a body lock or maybe find a submission. And stuff like that. So yeah, again, very close fight, but I'm gonna go with the guy who's a dog, who's gonna fight for my money, who's gonna be pressuring, who has more finishing upside, who has big moments upside, and so I go with Nazim here, but it's a close fight. Nazim is just the type of guy, Peg. I say that a lot. He's the type of guy that I like to bet as an underdog. Like when these type of fighters, they're not perfect fighters. Like he finds
a way to win. He's kind of like he just finds a way to win. That's what I like.
Yeah, and he's a dog. Like he's not gonna quit. He's not gonna stop, and he's gonna fight for your money. When you have these type of fighter, even if he's fighting a better skill fighter, he can still win. We've seen that multiple times already in his career. So I think in a fight like that, when you have a guy like him, you bet him at plus money. If he's minus 150, then it's a different conversation. But yeah, I think Nazim as an underdog here is pretty decent.
I agree. And listen, like I said, I gave him out plus 140 for free in the Discord. Join our Discord. We talk fights. It's always free. Sharpest Pod, appreciate you, bro. I think the clinch will be pivotal. Whoever wins that fight. Didn't the Saudis make Davis huff paint for the fight? That's supposedly what he said. A lot of fighters that card were complaining about the locker room paint thing. It is a great watch. If you haven't watched that BJJ or UFC BJJ, it is a great watch. He's electric for a BJJ guy. It's good to see that. It's good to put that on the map. I like Ziam here. First time really going against Nazim. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Easy to poke holes in someone's game when they're favored, for sure. Yeah, it tends to be that way. Next fight.
That's the wrong drink, bro. Come on, mate. We're 47 minutes into the podcast. What's happening? You're French. The wine is big in your region, bro. That's some of the best wine in the world.
Yeah, get us something, Drav.
Come on, man. I know you got it in the stash somewhere in the kitchen in the back room.
Next fight. Shout out Key. He's not here. Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. Silva's 19-5. Macy Barber is 14-2. You can get Macy Barber minus 190. You get Karine Silva plus 165. We got Macy Barber coming off of a back spasm and a neurotic breakdown before fighting Blanchfield. Karine Silva's coming off a win. They want us to do wiki feet. I'll pull that up in a second. I'll let these guys do breakdowns before I do that. Looking at this fight, I mean, I'm on Barber minus 148. I think that's a fine line for her. Minus 190. I don't know. I was also on Barber plus 200. Yes, the back pain could be from the big boobs that she just got. That's a possibility. There is a thing about that. They may have went too big there. Who knows? But no such thing. That being said, yeah, I think Macy Barber, as long as she can stop the takedowns here, should be fine. Silva probably or gets close to winning round one, maybe. But outside of that, like I think she gasses and Macy turns it on. Like Macy builds, Karine gasses, and as long as Macy can win round one, I think it looks pretty easy here. There's also a huge step down in competition based off what it is. The fight's going to extend, and Macy's, nasty. She gets in fights, she makes it dirty, and I think Karine Silva is going to hate that. So I don't know what if she even makes it to the cage, but if she does, I think that's a side at minus 148. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, I know me and James going to probably disagree on this one, but I'm going to talk for Key as well on this one because I'm going to do his part first because you want to make sure I trash talk his Karine Silva because, he hate her.
He's been waiting for the fade forever. He's been waiting for the fade forever, and now it's here.
Yeah, he hate her so bad. He thinks she's terrible. For what it's worth, I don't think she's as bad as what he's thinking, but I don't think she's as good as what people are thinking right now. That's also for sure. So yeah, Key got Barber here. You think Barber's going to cook her, and you think Barber is a good bet this week. I'll just put it that way. As far as my breakdown goes, So there's obviously concerns about Barber, and I think as now we're Wednesday night, so you probably listen to other podcasts and people I've talked about this all week, so I'm not going to do that again. There's L issues, there's stuff like that you don't like, that you pull out of fights because, and stuff like that. So that's not great, and she's on a layoff and everything, but there's nothing to tell me she's not going to be LT when she's fighting this weekend. And if she's LT, she's going to look like a big favorite. That's the way I'm thinking personally. So I'm not going to just assume she's not going to be LT. With what I've seen, I've looked at her TikTok and Instagram. She's posting a lot of clips of her training camp, and she's looking great. She's in great shape, training with good sparring partners and stuff like that. So I think she's going to be ready when it's go time. And if she's not, then she might lose. But even if she's not LT, I think she can still win that fight personally. So, yeah, I think it's a good fight. I'm excited for this one. So we know Karine Silva. We know her pretty well. So she's going to be looking good in round one. She normally always do. She has good BJJ. She's aggressive with those submissions. She has some power on the feet. But for once, I don't think her wrestling is really good. Her open mat wrestling is pretty bad. I think if she gets takedown, it's going to be in the clinch with like buddy lock takedown or trip takedowns and stuff like that. I can see that happening because Barber play in the clinch a lot, but Barber can also, put those knees in the body, big elbows on top in the clinch. She can hurt her or something. But I think if Silva get takedowns, it's going to be from the clinch, not from the open. I think her wrestling in the open is pretty tragic, honestly. And on the feet, yes, Barber is not the best striker of all time, but she's pretty good, and she's very, very mean in the cage. And I think that's very important against a girl like Karine Silva, who's a dangerous fighter, who likes to be dictating the fight and decide where the fight takes place and stuff like that. I think here in this fight, she might have success in round one, but I think in round 2 and 3, when she started fatigue, I don't think she's going to have the same success, and I don't think she's going to submit Maycee Barber either. Sometimes she rushes position too much, and her BJJ is good, but it's not like she's the best finisher of all time. She won the decision a couple times. Maycee Barber is this tough girl anyways. So yeah, Silva is the better BJJ girl, but outside of that, I think Barber is kind of better everywhere. I think Barber can match her physicality, and I think there's a big cardio difference in this matchup. We've seen Karine Silva in round 3. She doesn't look good in many of her fights. And Maycee Barber, she built into fights. She's a 5-round fighter, in my opinion. Her cardio is very, very good. And one of the things that I really like about this fight is Karine Silva, when she gets started, what she do? She pull guard, she lose position and stuff like that. Normally, people don't really want to go to the ground with Karine Silva because she's dangerous. Barber, if she gets on top of Karine Silva, she's going to elbow her face off. And I don't think Silva's going to like that. So I think if Barber get on top, she can beat her ass, honestly. And on the feet, I think Barber, when Silva started fatigue, she's going to put it on her. I think the pressure, the volume, the pace, I don't think Silva's going to like that in round 2 and 3. And so I think Barber is a big favorite to win round 3. And round 1, I favor Silva, but not as much as round 3. And then it kind of depends on round 2 if there's no finishes. And I lean Barber because I'm pretty confident she's going to finish round 2 very strong. And, we talk about damage versus control these days. I think Barber's going to do way more damage in this fight. And I think she's more likely to finish the fight personally because of the cardio dynamic, because I think she can finish on the feet. And I think she can finish from top position. But yeah, she could get caught early. That's possible. But I don't think that's going to happen. She's still the younger the younger fighter here at 27 years old, who's been fighting the better competition. So, yeah, I like Barber here. I think she's going to... I'm not sure if I'm going to predict the finish, but I think she can finish late. And if she does not finish, there's going to be opportunity for her to do so. I think Barber's going to cook her. So, yeah, exciting fight, honestly. I'm looking forward to it.
This isn't even comparable. This is prison feet versus painted nails. It's a no-brainer. I think this is a 10-8 from that standpoint. But, James, what are you thinking? What do you got for us with this fight?
I think Maycee Barber comes into a lot of fights completely sick or completely injured, to be honest, man. Because I think, skill-wise, she's a good girl. She's very strong. She does what she needs to do to get the job done. But at the end of the day, man, if we look at a fight against Andrea Lee, she looked terrible, in my opinion. I mean, she didn't look good in the fight. Andrea Lee lost 6 fights in a row. 6, boys. That's a lot, This ain't like 2 or 3 fights, like 6 fights in a row. I think Andrea Lee must be cut from the UFC. Is it? I've never seen a fighter allowed 6 losses in a row. I've never seen it. I haven't seen it. I think maximum I've seen is 5. And that's if you're like a former champion. Andrea Lee got left 6 in a row. But out of those 6, she actually won a fight. And that was against Macy Barber, man. But they didn't score it for her. But in my opinion, she won the fight. It was a close fight. Whatever. I'm not going to scream. What I'm saying is she got battered in every fight except for Macy Barber. I think Macy Barber come into that fight completely injured. And if you go back and look at her career, she's other fights she comes in injured as well, you know, or just like not there of all time. In the Erin Blanchfield fight, she didn't compete in that fight. She woke up from being unconscious in hospital and said, "Why am I in hospital? Did Erin fuck me up in the fight?" And all of her team said to her, and this is from Macy's mouth herself, obviously. All of her team said to her, "No, you didn't even fight her. What do you mean? You didn't fight?" She's like, "Oh, sorry. I thought me and her had a fight." No. So she's got some very bad illnesses, surgeries. She's gone through crazy surgeries. I know you remember Roxanne Modafferi taking her down because
the knee blowout.
The knee blew up when she was like 23. She was meant to be this girl who's like, you know, future champion. Dana White raving about her. And she goes and loses to Miranda Maverick and Andrea Lee and gets completely robbed in those decisions, in my opinion. You know, robbery wins. And the one constant throughout those decisions is she's getting taken down and grappled. You know, Jessica I had 8 minutes of control time on her. I just don't think Macy Barber, and that was against the cage, a lot of it. I don't think Macy Barber comes in 100% to these fights. I think she comes in 60% to a lot of these fights, literally goes unconscious before the walkout as well. I think it's a red flag, boys. I really, really do. Maybe I'm looking into the outside of the octagon stuff a little bit too much. In the octagon, Karine Silva's a black belt facing a purple belt, right? She's way better on the ground. If she gets her on the ground, why can't she threaten a submission? You know, in round 2 of the Alexa Grasso fight, she had a submission locked in. I know Macy Barber's never been submitted. She's a strong girl. Go back and watch round 1, the last couple of minutes of the Andrea Lee versus Macy Barber fight. Macy Barber's pressuring, gets taken down easy. Macy Barber, for her entire career, has had issues with grappling and wrestling. People like Andrea Lee, who's a striker's taking her down and dominating her from top position. Literally domination. Macy Barber, she took her back. Macy Barber couldn't do anything. She took her back, yes, and Macy Barber did reverse at the end with like 1 minute to go. But I don't think she's good on the ground, boys. I really don't, man. I think Karine Silva's good on the ground. Look, I bet Diani Barboza at plus 180 against Karine Silva last time out. I thought she won. My opinion, I got robbed. Look, I was there live in Chicago with my boy Zar. We both bet her. We was screaming at the rest of the crowd, you know. So maybe we was like watching it live and we was a little bit, you know, we had a few drinks. Maybe we was just a little bit biased. I rewatched it back. It's a close fight. I'm not going to come out and say I got robbed. It is what it is, boys. MMA is a crazy game, you know. Sometimes close fight doesn't go your way. It was a close fight, though. I'm not a big Karine Silva fan. I faded her when she was minus 200. Like, it's not like I'm a major fan. I just feel like I just want to fade Barber, man. I just want to fade Barber, bro. Like, I just feel like she comes into these fights when she shouldn't fight. I think she's got a lot of injuries that she never tells anyone about. I think sicknesses and illnesses plagued her career. And I think we've seen that in the octagon and out. And I think Karine Silva's going to win. Look, I could totally see Karine not finishing her, which I think submission is very live here. I could totally see Karine not finishing her and then she getting cooked in round 3. At the end of the day, man, Macy Barber round 3 is like a mythical creature. She cooked Alexa Grasso in round 3, which is literally, I think, her last loss, boys. I think she's won 6 in a row or something crazy like that. Even though, in my opinion, she lost 2 out of those 6, but whatever. But she looked great in round 3 in that fight. So I'm not going to lie, but if this fight gets into, 9-10 minutes, it could swing. But this is all about odds, boys. The reason I play Diani Barboza is because she's plus 180. The reason I'm favoring Karine Silva is because she's plus 155. So, yeah, I mean, that's my prediction for the fight. I think it's close to a 50-50 fight, honestly, boys.
Yeah, not fair. Barber KO round 3, plus 2,100. Damn, James, you cooked all of us with the breakdown. Now we're all second guessing our best. Might have to cash out. Wine will fuck you up faster than whiskey. That's true. I love wine drunk's a great one. Waking up the next day. Not the best.
We love that, but
not the best. But all I'm hearing is that Macy's going to win even if she loses. Yeah, it seems to be a pretty Pretty big pick for the community. Step up in competition for Macy? I don't think so.
No, she's been fighting top 10 girls. It's a step up for Silva.
This is a good matchup if she gets the takedowns and gets the wrestling going. I tend to agree.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's about it.
I mean, it's kind of fair to say she will take her down early. Like, it will be kind of delusional not to think she will.
Yeah,
what's up, Weezy, bro?
Appreciate it, brother. Champs -3.5 for Barber. Silva +3.5, easy cash. I don't know about that. Barber by body shot. Which one are you clapping out? It's kind of a no-brainer there.
Body shot.
Barber. But yeah, Silva, Pantoja, I like all these money lines. Nice. Good to know. These are the anything all over the sulfates and sugar. Yeah, it does. Except if you buy good wines. I'm sure if you're up 200 units on the year, you're probably buying a fine glass of wine, right, James?
I'm going to tell you a story about some wine, boys. So pass me that wine. So I'm going to tell you a story about some wine, boys, right? So I went to a restaurant today, yeah, in Battersea Power Station. Google that shit, yeah. Proper bougie place, yeah, overlooking the Battersea Station. They charged me £170 for a wine, right? Which is like over $200.
Yep.
That wine tasted like shit. I bought this wine from Tesco, yeah, which is this wine here from Tesco, which is like your equivalent of what's like some like medium to low level supermarket where you're from?
ShopRite.
Yeah. What about Canada, bro?
Do they got grocery stores in Canada? I don't even know.
What you said, grocery store?
What's your like? Yeah, your like medium
store, like Kmart or Rite Aid.
I don't understand those terms.
Where do you buy your groceries? Whole Foods.
Supermarket.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, sure. Supermarket. Yeah, so there's like metros and stuff like that.
So it was just like a medium level. It's called Tesco, yeah? This costs £7, $10. This tastes a million times better than the one I bought at the restaurant for $200. So don't listen to them when they try to charge you $200, boys. Buy the cheap one.
Yeah, the markup is huge, especially in America. If you go out in America and get a bottle of wine, the markup's crazy on that.
It's all fake, mate. This tastes 10 times better and it's 10 times cheaper.
Bro, $20.
All right. Yeah.
I tend to disagree there. Couch, shout out for joining us. All right, next fight here. Probably going to win fight of the night, I would imagine. It'd be hard not to. It's Chris Duncan versus Terrence McKinney. Chris Duncan's 14-2. Terrence McKinney is 17-7. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Terrence McKinney at +130. You get Chris Duncan -150. Lucrative, Chris Duncan's your boy. I know that. How do you think this fight goes?
I mean, boys, like, if Dravi was fighting on the weekend, I would never come out and be like, yeah, Dravi's, he's fighting Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney's athletic. Like, bro,
I would.
Look, respect to Terrence, man. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, we've had a few back and forths and that on Insta. Like, he follows me, I follow him. All good, mate. Chris is going to go out there and do his thing, man. Like, I've got nothing to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I think Chris is going to go out there and beat him up, man. I mean,
the under, right? This is a fight with two guys who both swing, have crazy finishing upside. The under is kind of crazy, I feel like. I mean, it's probably -300.
You're trying to tell me -300? You're trying to tell me 75% for a Terrence McKinney under? 95%. This might be the biggest edge on the card, boys. Biggest edge on the card, right?
Too.
Yeah, and exactly. That guy's going to go out and fucking put his life on the line for $50K bonus like he did against Rebecca in round 3. Let's not forget, boys. Chris Duncan did not need to go out and literally swing toe-to-toe in round 3 against Rebecca. And he's told me personally and everyone online on our podcast that he literally did that just to get a bonus. And I was there live, and I know he did that because I literally watched. The round 3 was completely different from round 1 and round 2. So he's going to do the same shit in round 1. Chris ain't going to fight behind the jab. He's going to go out there like a madman. They're going to swing and someone's going to fall. And I pray to God that's going to be Terrence McKinney. All love to him. So Chris Duncan round 1. I know people are going to play Chris Duncan round 2 and stuff, but this seems like a 1-round job to me, boys. I don't know. Under 1.5 for the limit. That should be hammer of the week, but that's it.
All right. I tend to agree. I think under round 1.5 an Aaron McKinney fight seems pretty fair to me. I think -300 uses a parlay leg should cash. Kind of no brainer for me. What do you think, Drop?
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to say who's gonna finish who in round one, but I tend to think it's gonna be Duncan just because he's more of a dog. And if McKinney doesn't finish him in like the first 3 minutes, then Duncan after like 4 or 5 minutes he becomes like minus 500 if not more. The thing with round two though is like if the fight goes into round two, I'm pretty fucking confident Duncan's gonna finish him in round two. No doubt in my mind about that. In round one, it's kind of like 50-50 because I think they can both knock out each other. I think they can both submit each other in round one. In round two, I think Duncan's going to do whatever he wants. And yeah, I think he can hurt McKinney on the feet. I think he can submit him. We know that guillotine is kind of a cheat code for him. And McKinney, what is he going to do if he doesn't hurt him or if he's in trouble? He's going to try to shoot and go to the body lock takedown and trying to rear naked choke him. And when he's trying to shoot, and if he's hurt or fatigued, that guillotine's going to be there. So I feel like Duncan might catch him in the guillotine here late round one or in round two. But yeah, under 1.5 is always good when McKinney fight. And Duncan's going to bring the violence. He's not going to try to, stay patient and stuff.
No way. I think this is fight of the night written all over it.
I don't think it's going to be fight of the night pick because it's not going to last long enough. It's going to be a performance of the nights.
All right, that's fair. That's fair too. Yeah, this is Chris Duncan's Dana White Contender Series fight. I was talking about this with my boys today.
Good call.
Probably one of the best Dana White Contender Series fights we've had where, he's rocked, he's hurt, swings back, knocks out Charlie Campbell. Probably one of my favorite.
Charlie's the man, bro. Charlie's a fucking G, man. I know he lost against Tom Nolan, but he went into that fight crazily injured. I watched the injury live in front of me in the UFC performance. His knee blew into about 20 pieces, and he still fought that like 2 weekends after. And he's never come out and said that on podcast. So I'm saying it now.
No excuses.
He's never come out. So he's the man for that. So shout out to Charlie. I know you fought crazy injured in that one, and he still put up a good performance. He did. Charlie's got skills, man. And that fight against Chris Duncan was a great fight, man. It was sad to see, Charlie go out like that. But I think he's going to come back and do work in his next fight.
If this fight goes to a decision, it 100% favors Chris Duncan, and he'll look probably minus 500.
What happened the last time Terrence McKinney came out, tried to go to decision against Bomb Fiend?
Yeah, it looked awful. He can do that. And he said after that fight, he said, I'm never going to do that again.
He said that.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned when's the last time McKinney got submitted? It was against Nazim Sadykhov, was actually on this card. And it was in round two.
Yeah.
Maybe we repeat
minus
that.
150 is a gift. Dravi round two.
Is he minus? I just checked. He's minus 150. I didn't know.
I mean, if it keeps going low, I'm more than happy to take a shot there.
Why would you play money? I know we can get more money down, but why would you play money line? Is he really gonna decision him?
No, he's gonna knock him out.
But then the ITD is probably minus 130 or something.
Yeah, it's probably bad.
I'll tell you right now. It is. Let's see.
It'd be funny.
Inside the distance for. Dude, fight doesn't go the distance is minus 2,000. And then
check on Bet Online. I just checked it. Check on Bet Online for the comedy. So tell me, boys, check on Bet Online. Tell me the money line for Chris and the ITD for Chris. Please tell me.
Minus 150 for Duncan by KO. And then Duncan inside the distance is minus 145.
Yeah, but that's actually because the money line dropped. It was minus 180, right? And then they didn't adjust the ITD. That's why it's like that.
Boys, for me right now, I can get Chris Duncan money line at minus 150. But if I want to play the ITD and go a little bit more sneaky, the ITD is minus 155. So what do you do?
That makes sense, right? So buy low spot. It's definitely a buy low spot here. And this guy says buy low spot on Charlie. I tend to agree. Next fight depends on who he gets. All right. Next fight here we have is let's take a look here. Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres, El Loco, 16-3. Grant Dawson, 23-2-1. Grant Dawson, minus 220. Manuel Torres, plus 185. Another fight where it's like Manuel Torres is a round one guy. Comes out there trying to kill you. Everyone talks about Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green where he got knocked out in the first round. That's been the whole thing this week. Like, oh, he's got a terrible chin. He's been trying to stand up more and more recent fights, even though he's got possibly the best takedowns and back take in the game. I don't know. To me, it feels like Grant Dawson, probably the side. Line's coming in, right? I said what? He's minus, what did I just say? Minus 220. So the line actually got blown out again. I don't know. for me personally, it feels like I was kind of leaning unders. I think they're giving you under 1.5 at -130. They're giving you under 2.5 at -310. Just because I think, Torres finds the finish early. No shit. That's how he's going to win. But I still think there's a chance that Grant Dawson gets back take, finds a submission or ground and pound finish. He goes for it now. So I don't know. Under seem fine for me. If I got to pick a side, I'm going to go with Grant Dawson. What do you think, Lucrative?
Yeah, it's funny because Grant Dawson trains at ATT, who trains with Chris Duncan. They're like very good friends inside, outside the training room as well. And
yeah, I saw he said he wouldn't fight him unless it's for the gold or something like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would fight each other, maybe for the strap or something. But they've been speaking to each other. Chris said this on my podcast, so I'm just repeating it. But they said they've been speaking to each other, saying like they've got the same fight. If they get out around one, they're gonna cook their fighters. So it's interesting. I kind of feel like who's got the easier fight? Honestly, I don't really know, man. I think Grant's got the easier fight just because of Grant's skill set. If he wins, he looks -1,000. That's just Grant's skill set,
Yeah.
It's like Pat Sabatini. I know that was a weird fight in his last fight, but if Pat wins, he looks -1,000 because of how good a grappler he is. I think he's going to take down. Manuel Torres and fuck him up. That's my opinion. I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to ground and pound him. He ground and pounded Rafa Garcia, mate. Rafa Garcia is a tough motherfucker, bro. Tough Mexican. They don't get grappled like that. They don't get knocked out like that. So I don't see why Manuel Torres can't. He got embarrassed by Ignacio Bahamondes. Obviously, the guy's super strong, super physical. He sold out for the takedown badly against Chris Duncan, put his all into that body lock takedown and jumped on the back. I don't think Terrence McKinney would honestly be able to do the same to Chris, but this is a different fight. So I think Grant's going to take him down and finish him, maybe round 2 or something like that.
What do you think, Trav? You got a pick here?
Yeah, again, I think Torres here, I think he's round 1 KO or bust. I don't think he's going to submit Grant Dawson unless he hurt him badly and jump on the back or something, but I don't think he's going to submit him. If you like Torres, I think the under 1.5, the KO 1 makes sense. But you know what? I think Dawson can finish him early as well. The difference on the BJJ and the difference on the ground is nasty. If Grant get on top of him or took his back early on, I know he said he wanted to win a decision here and stuff like that, but the difference is so big on the ground. I think he can ground and pound him. I think he can choke him out. And in round 2, Torres is going to be gas, man. Torres, the way he fights and the way he put everything into his shots is going to tire out. Dawson, we saw him, he has a lot of round 2, 3 finishes. So I think that can be one of those spots where he plays safe early and get a round 2 finish or a round 3 finish. Or he can just take the back early on because he's not going to keep the fight on the feet in round 1. He's going to shoot, man. And when he does shoot, I think Torres is going to try to get back up. And when he does, he's going to give up his back. I think Dawson can submit him. And also, I think Dawson can get on top of him. And he has good ground and pound. I think Torres has not really seen a level like that on the mat. So, he looked great against Duncan. He got hurt in that fight, but he looked great grappling-wise. And the fact he submitted him was impressive. But I think Dawson, BJJ is better than Duncan personally. And I think that... I think Dawson is a smart fighter. He knows what to do to win. He's not 11-1 by mistake. So I don't really get this matchmaking personally. I think Dawson is going to roll and should be fighting in the top 15 next.
Yeah. All right. So we agree. Grant Dawson, ITD, -110. Don't overthink it. I mean,
that's good.
Not. Torres, 5th highest knockdown rate by sub. I mean, he can ground and pound as well. I wish we never saw him get knocked down 5 seconds by Bobby Green. Yep. Dawson, Duncan.
That didn't happen.
Grant Dawson, all grappling, hope smashes him. Probably. Good fight. Dawson's chin. I don't know. Everyone seems so confused. I guess the under got smashed for this fight. That's what I like. I like the under on it. But yeah. All right. Guys, next fight of the night we have is the first fight of the main card. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe, please. That's all we ask. All the support we ask for is a like, a comment, and subscribe. Get us on the algorithm. Get us to 1,000 subs before the end of the year. It's our first year doing the podcast. If you could get us 1,000 subs in the first year, we'd be super thankful. And obviously, if you look on Twitter, James dropped his Telegram there. Join James's Telegram. You want to get rich? James will show you how. Pretty straightforward. All right. Next fight here, like I said, Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Guskov is 18-3. Jan Blachowicz, 29-11. 42 versus 33. Odds on these two gentlemen, -130. Guskov, +110. I mean, I'm going to be the one to say it. I haven't really said it out loud or on Twitter or anything like that. I feel like I'm the only person who likes Jan Blachowicz here, and here's why. I mean, fighting top 5 guys and champions only. Yeah, he's looked 42, but he hasn't looked like he's taken a step back. He is a fellow Polak, and, you know, honestly, Guskov's a guy who can get taken down pretty easily, leaves his leg out there to get leg kicked, and we're talking about a guy with great leg kicks and great grappling. I don't see a reason how Jan doesn't get him to the ground at least once, and we kind of can see where it goes from there. So me personally at -125, sure, the narrative right now is the age that's the issue, but outside of the age, like, Guskov knocks out guys. We're not fighting Zach Poga here, which I faded Guskov against. I also took Volkan, so don't worry, we made it back. Span, debatably losing before the KO. Billy Elkanah took the fight on like 1 day's notice. Nikita Krylov, he's kind of washed right now and fought a dumb fight. But, like, I don't know. Now you're fighting Jan. And big step up, big step down. Jan -25 is either going to, it probably looks like a gift to me personally. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, I know some people like Guskov, but I agree with you, Peg. I actually like Blachowicz here. Yeah, so the age is concerning because how many fighters actually win fights at 42 years old? Not many.
Glover won the belt at 43.
Yeah, so it's not common, right? But at light heavyweight and at heavyweight, it's more common than other weight classes. So that's one. And then I've not seen regression in Blachowicz game, and he fought this year. So I think I've mentioned that for another fight on this card. I think the calf kick of Jan is going to be a big weapon. I think he's going to beat up Guskov leg, who's a boxer who likes to be heavy on his front leg. I think Blachowicz was nasty leg kicks going to take advantage of that. And yeah, Guskov, basically, he's a boxer with big power. That's about it. He's aggressive. He put himself in danger. And I think Blachowicz, if you put yourself in danger against him, he can counter you. He can knock you out. And if you look the last guys he's lost again, we're talking about Carlos Ulberg, who can be a champion sooner than later. We're talking about Nkalaev, who's a former champion, and that was a draw. He didn't even lose. Alex Pereira.
Barely beat Ferreira.
It was a 50 fight, right? And he gassed out the altitude, and he beat a former champ and Adesanya. He beat Rakic, and he has the loss against Glover, which is the only fight he looked bad in, but he said he was injured in that fight. But yeah, I mean, against Ulberg, the fight was 50-50, man, against Carlos Ulberg. It was a 29-28 fight where you can make an argument on both sides. And I get it's not the same type of fight, but I think Guskov can knock him out. But if he does not knock him out, which I don't think he will, because I think Blachowicz is still very good. I saw him getting hit with some clean shot by Alex Pereira, and he took them fine. I saw him getting clipped with some big counters of Carlos Ulberg. He was fine. And yeah, I think Guskov can get knocked out here. I think Blachowicz can take him down and can maybe submit him. And if they go the distance, I'm going to trust the guy who's way better defensively, who's won 15 minutes multiple times in the UFC, who's been fighting the way better guys, even though he's older. So it's not like Guskov has a big cardio edge here. I think he might slow down, if anything. I don't think his power is going to be as good in round 3. And I don't think his wins are very good, honestly. So, yeah, it's a big step up for him. We know Blachowicz is a top 5 guy in the division for ages. And he only lost to top 3, top 5 guys. And I'm pretty confident to say Guskov is not a top 5 guys in that division. Maybe he's a top 15 guy. But now he's going to try to beat a guy who's been in the top 5 for a long time. And that will be Blachowicz's worst loss in a long time. So I got Blachowicz here. I think he's going to finish him.
What do you think, James?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think at the end of the day, man, I understand it's easy to fade someone like Jan, being how old he is. Like, that's an old motherfucker, 42 years old. Guskov is 33, so he's got a 9-year age advantage, and I would call it an age advantage at this age. If you're like 19 and you're fighting a 28-year-old, I'm going to call it a disadvantage. But at 33, he's in his prime, and Jan's an old guy, but like Dravi said, man, Jan hasn't showed regression, and he fought this year against the next champion, Carlos Ulberg, the Black Jag, shout out City Kickboxing, and he might have won that fight. I know a lot of people calling for Yan to win that fight. I know people was on Yan plus 200, so maybe they're a little bit biased. I don't think Yan clearly won that fight at all. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys, like, who do you think won the fight between Carlos Ulberg on rewatch for this podcast against Jan Blachowicz? Like, what do you think? I'm interested to know.
I personally score it for Ulberg, but it's like 55-45. You know, it's like
I thought it was
very close margin.
Ulberg as well. Honestly.
There's like one of these rounds that is so close, and the other two rounds that were kind of easier for me to score. But one of those rounds, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was round 3, which I'm like, damn, I don't know, man. You know, but I lean Ulberg, but you know, not by a lot.
You could have went either way, to be honest. You really could.
I scored it the same as you. Like, I felt Ulberg won it like 60-40 maximum, you know. So, I mean, that's a great performance in March. Like, we're not talking like 4 years ago, you know.
Yeah,
that's March. And at light heavyweight, obviously, you can be older and you can still be in your prime. I mean, Yan's a great fighter, man. At the end of the day, if you're going to grapple Yan, you can fuck him up, because we've seen Magomed Ankalaev absolutely fuck him up in the grappling. But he still was a draw because he fucked him up in the striking.
Yeah, with the leg kicks.
Yeah, he beat him in the striking clean. That wasn't a close fight. You know what I mean? If that was a 3-round fight, Yan beats Ankalaev. On another timeline, his next fight, Ferreira, Yan wins the fight as well. It's a split decision. The reason he lost the Ferreira fight is because he was drunk. He looked drunk, drunker than me, and he was like wobbling in round 3. And so he got scored the round 3 via optics. So he lost the fight. One judge scored it for him. And then, as we've just said, the Carlos Ulberg fight, he won as well. On another timeline, he's just beat Ankalaev, Ferreira, and Ulberg. I think the best thing you can do as a sports bettor is stop judging fights on the judge's decision and judge fights on how they played out. And that's why people like me, you, and Peg, me, Peg, and you make a big edge on MMA, is because we actually rewatch the fights. You know, that's why we have an edge, is because people look at WikiFeet, Wikipedia, Tapology, and they see that these fighters have won via decision, but the fight didn't play out like that. You know, that's where we can get the edge. So when I look at Wikipedia, yes, he hasn't won since 2022 on a leg when Rakic's knee just burst apart. But at the end of the day, man, he's looked elite. Not Yan hasn't looked like good. Yan's looked elite, boys, like elite. Let's be real. Yan has looked like a champion against Ankalaev, Ferreira, and Ulberg. In my opinion, a legitimate champion of the light heavyweight division. So how can I not pick him against Bogdan Guskov? Who has Guskov beat? He got smoked by Volkan in his UFC debut. He beat Ryan Spann, who he got 10-8'd by in round 1, by the way. I mean, that round 1, he got dominated. Billy Elikana and Nikita Krylov is a good win. I know people are going to say he's washed, and Nikita Krylov is a good win. Shout out to you. At the end of the day, man, Yan could be completely washed and he could get knocked out, but there's no way that I can't back Yan at a pick'em based on his last 3 fights. So I'm ready to be wrong here, boys, but I like Yan a lot.
James, they want your girlfriend to come say hi live on the show.
Don't know who that is, man.
It's hard to land clean on Yan. Good, decent.
Yeah, very, very good defense, true. And he has a good chin as well.
Yep. Ulberg's going to be Poton for the belt. I kind of tend to agree. Ulberg on rewatch. Guskov can land heavy on a 42-year-old Wash Yan. I mean, yeah, anyone can land clean on anyone, but I don't see it coming. James, thanks for the Pratis round 2 KO. I mean, you paid for your vacation, right?
Yeah, exactly. People are messaging, or some geezer made a comment saying, I can't believe you're saying that betting paid for your holiday. Like, what a bad thing to put out there. Yeah, I know gambling's fucked up a lot of people's life. It literally paid for the fucking villa. I had some money in a betting account. I got banned from the betting account. I withdrew the money. I bought a villa for $1,000 a night. What do you want me to do? Lie? It's paid for the villa, man. It is what it is. I'm going to speak facts, whether it's negative or positive. And boys, there's a guy saying Yan's washed in the chat. Why? Why are you saying that?
Because I think he's just saying that because he was 42 and he wiki capped it. That would be my guess.
Why is Yan's washed, bro? Like he
hasn't looked washed.
Look, he's gonna be washed one of these days. He's gonna just turn up washed. I understand that, but you can't say he is washed.
He hasn't looked washed yet. He hasn't looked washed yet. How could you say he's washed? He hasn't looked washed yet.
And also, like, if he was 37 years old here, maybe even 38, he will be minus 300. You know, that's the thing. So it's like, because he's 42, we need to cap it less because he could be declining. But you can say he's declining by 50. I'm gonna say it's 15 less percent. You know, I just don't buy that. I still think he should be a decent sized favorite. Maybe not minus 300 like he was 37 years old, but not minus 120. Like, yeah.
All right. Next fight we have here is Peyton Talbott versus Henry Cejudo. This is Cejudo, Triple C's retirement fight, rightfully so, 16-5. Peyton Talbott, 10-1. I mean, odds of these two gentlemen, Cejudo's plus 215, Talbot's minus 255. I'll say it. Talbot's going to knock out Henry Cejudo. No such thing as fairy tale happy endings in this sport. And I think Cejudo is pretty much completely washed at this rate. Actually washed, injured between knees, shoulders, everything he's gone through. And the age he's at, he's just doing it for money. Peyton Talbott, taller, longer reach, darker melanin, younger, better striker, more power. I think he's like a 6-inch reach, 6-inch height. It's just going to be better athlete at this rate. I don't get it. So I think Peyton Talbott knocks out Henry Cejudo. Lucrative, what do you think?
Talbot is your guy, bro. So we want to know. We want to know the sauce. Let us know.
The GOAT, mate, the GOAT. I remember Peyton Talbot won me $80,000 against Cameron Simon.
I was on that minus 125 as well.
Yeah. Never forget, boys. They gave us a pick'em. They gave us a pick'em, boys. Never forget that one. But look, at the end of the day, man, I don't know about minus 275. I mean, like, look, I back big favorites in parlays. That's part of my style. So I'm always going to look like a bit of an idiot because I'm not going to cash every one, right? But I'm staying away from Peyton Talbot moneyline because I think there's better ways to play him. Peyton ain't going to knock out Henry in round 1. You know, he's probably not going to knock him out in round 2, maybe late round 2. I know me and Dravi, maybe we go back and forth on that one. But I feel like if Peyton wins, he's going to smash him in round 3 or win like a via decision. Like, that's Peyton's style, you know. He's a round 2, round 3 decision when he fights this level. Felipe Lima, Reyes, Cortez, this type of guy, you know. So why would you lay minus 275? At the end of the day, maybe Cejudo can get a takedown. He's a veteran, but he's looking flabby to me. You know, when I look at his Instagram and look at his YouTube. Boys, if you've seen Henry Cejudo's YouTube channel, yeah, he's literally, he's naming, right? And like, I mean, they want to call me a YouTuber these days, boys. I'm just a fucking gambler, bro. But apparently I'm a YouTuber these days. So I know about naming the titles and the thumbnails and all of that shit, right? He's naming the title retiree fight. Henry Cejudo trains for his retirement fight. Like, every single video that Henry Cejudo has put out, go look at it. I'm not lying. It's got the word retirement in it. I saw two. That's a lot, right? It's got the word retirement in it. I mean, how are you going to retire and fight Peyton Talbot? Peyton Talbot's a motherfucker, bro. Like, I know people want to hate on him because he lost to Barcelos, who's a veteran in the game, who's way better at jiu-jitsu than Henry Cejudo, that he still had a lot of moments in. That wasn't a dominant fight. I know people remember it to be a dominant fight because he had dominant positions, but he scrambled underneath Barcelos like 6-7 times in that fight. There's a reason Barcelos had to get 10 takedowns in that fight because Peyton Talbot got up every time. And Barcelos has way better control and grappling than Henry Cejudo. He always has done. So I don't really know how Henry's going to win this fight. He's going to have to stay on the outside, avoid all exchanges, get a takedown at the end of a round for a minute. Like, it's a tough ask for Henry Cejudo, man. But it's a big enough step up in competition. And we've seen a lapse in concentration from Peyton Talbot to not play a minus 300 money line. You know, we're gamblers at the end of the day, boys, right? So I think Peyton Talbot to win in round 3 is 10-1. I'm liking that one. Peyton Talbot via decision is plus money, just about. I'm liking that one. And that's my prediction for the fight. Peyton Talbot round 3 or decision. That's what I reckon.
Yeah. There's also you look at a bunch of different props, you know, like definitely like that one, but you also have Peyton Talbot in round 3 to start is minus 110 on FanDuel. So it's like all you got to do is like there's just different ways to play it for sure. I think Peyton Talbot knocks him out though. I don't know. I didn't look into the exact KO prop because now you're talking rounds. Now you're talking plus 1,000 to me versus plus 270 for the whole fight. That's a huge difference. Now you might be getting me interested. Drav, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a good fight, honestly. And I think one of the biggest thing to talk about for the matchup in specific, like about the actual fight in the cage, James talked about, the retirement and shit. So I'm not going to talk about that twice, but the knees that Talbot use, especially in the clinch and to the body, is going to be big here because Cejudo, he's way smaller and he's going to try to shoot takedowns. And those knees going to be big for Talbot. And I also think Cejudo is going to slow down because of Talbot pace and pressure. And Talbot's going to knee him in the body when it's in the clinch. So that's not going to help his cardio. We know Cejudo has a really good chin, but he's fighting a guy who's going to be in his face nonstop, who's going to throw big shots and who's going to throw a lot of volume. So I think in round 2 or 3, he's going to be in trouble, honestly, because I think in round 1, he can compete. I think he can even win round 1 personally because he's going to take him down. I think he can. But like James said, I don't really think he's going to control him, not for a long period of time. That's for sure. And on the feet, Cejudo is actually pretty good, but the hardware difference is going to be massive. The power difference, the size difference, the age difference, the cardio difference, all those things, like Talbot's going to dominate in round 3. You could even finish him later on. So I think Talbot's going to win. I agree that the money line is a bit sketchy because I do think he's very live to lose round 1 and get taken down. But man, the pressure as the fight goes, the pace, the knees to the body, the big shot on top, the knees to the head when Cejudo trying to shoot, I feel like he's going to hurt him, man. And if he hurt him, Talbot is a motherfucker, man. Like when he hurts guys, he goes for it. And I don't think Cejudo at this stage in his career, I don't think he's going to be able to handle it later on. So I don't know if I'm going to predict a finish. I might lean decision, but I do think a round 2-3 finish is very live here on the Talbot side.
Cody, shout out you too. Best of luck Saturday. I think it's dog or pass. I think Cejudo's getting rinsed in his last few moments. I thought he was doing all right, even when he lost the majority of those rounds. Stepped down in comp.
Yeah, he didn't look bad in like the Song Yadong fight, for example. He didn't look bad in even the Merab fight, but like in those fights, he slowed down, right? And I think he's gonna slow down again here. Difference is the guy in front of him is very, very dangerous, and he's gonna destroy his body. So, and Henry is older now, is retiring after. So, but yeah, if Henry wins, it's probably gonna be a decision. So yeah.
James, respect you spend your winnings on what you want. I mean, that's how you're supposed to do it, bro. You can't take money out of the grave. 100% by 100%, Dravi. Interesting fact, it's a double retirement fight. His coach Martino is also retiring. Yes, that's true. He announced that today on the show. We announced it a few weeks ago, but today he says it's his last day of the MMA gym. Talbot's so much bigger and longer. Yeah, I tend to agree with the same. All right. Next fight here we have is a flyweight matchup. We have Brendan Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. 17-1 versus 23-8. Brendan Moreno is sitting at plus 105. Tatsuro Taira is minus 125. Drav, we'll have you go first here. I want Tatsuro Taira. I think the future is now, but it's so hard to bet against a guy like Brendan Moreno. Absolute dog. Been here forever. But I think it's honestly a bad thing it's a 3-round fight. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good fight, man. Very excited for this one. One of my favorite on the entire card. You mentioned the 3-round. I think that's very important because Moreno has been fighting 5 rounds for ages. I think the last time he's fought a 3-rounders was 5 years ago. So he's used to build into fight and use his cardio as the fight goes. And I think here in 3 rounds, it's way better for Taira, who can slow down in round 4 and 5 as we've seen the Huevo fight. One thing for Taira I'm going to mention is the kid is very young. What is he, 24? Yeah, he's just turned 25. He's basically my age, and he's fighting at the top level of the sport, which is kind of crazy, man, when you look at it. So I think in the Huevo fight, he learned a lot since that fight, honestly. Like, he was young, he was cocky, he was undefeated, and sometimes when you take your first loss, you come back better. And one thing I'm going to say about this fight, right, because we know Brendan Moreno is very hard to hold down. He has really good BJJ, very good scramble, the same can be said for Brandon Huevo, right? We all agree on that.
Yeah.
Look at Taira versus Huevo, round 2 of that fight. And look at what Taira did to control Huevo and with the body lock and with the control of that fight in general. That was super fucking impressive to me, man. Like, if you know BJJ just a little bit and you watch those sequences, you're going to be impressed, man. The kid is fucking good.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
That was very, very impressive. And again, against a guy who was very hard to hold down, was very good BJJ, and who scrambled like a motherfucker, man. So that was impressive. And then he got hurt in that fight in round 3, and he was slowing down. Not a great look because Rival doesn't do that to many guys, but he can break guys with his pace and volume and shit. But in round 4, he came back and he won that round. So that showed me that he has that dog in him. He can like if he get hurt, he can still win a fight, right? But then in round 5, it was close, but he ended up losing the 5th round. It was a close fight, but he lost. But even after he got hurt and he was tired, he still pushed through it and didn't get finished and won one of those rounds. So, and again, we're talking about a guy who is going to be learning from that, who's going to be improving after that. And yeah, so here, Moreno, I think in his last, I was looking at that. I think it's in his last 8 fights, he got taken down. The only fight he didn't get taken down against, it was against Steve Erceg. That's because Erceg didn't attempt a takedown in that fight. So his takedown defense is good, but he can be taken down against pretty much anyone. And we know Taira's going to shoot. The difference is when Taira shoot, he's going to take his back and he's going to control him. Like Pantoja did, for example. Pantoja, one of the best back take in the sport. We're going to talk about him. But I think Taira is probably the second best in the entire division. So if Pantoja can do it, I think Taira is on a similar level, maybe a bit worse, but he's still very, very good. And I think in those positions, he can get the back, and that can be a round, right? So I predict him to get a back take and win a round that way, at least one of those 3 rounds. And then he just has to do it one more round or win a fight on the feet, which I think is also possible. Like Moreno's the better striker, more volume, more proven and stuff like that. But we've seen Moreno hurt before, and Taira has some sneaky power sometimes. His striking is underrated. He has some power in his right hand, and he has a really good clinch game. Moreno, what he do when he pressure and use his boxing, he close the distance, right? And when he try to do that, I think Taira is going to clinch him and knee him to the head and trying to body lock, takedown and stuff like that. So I think the clinch of Taira is going to be a big weapon. I think the body lock is going to be big. And again, I'm betting on the guy who's much younger, who's going to be improving from fight to fight. And Moreno, it's a final product. We know what we're going to get. And I don't think he's improving from now. A guy that was the champion, made all his money. Now, what's the motivation look like? To, beat Taira and rematch Pantoja again? I don't know, man. It's a guy that took a break from MMA, that was not motivated like 2 fights ago and stuff like that. So, and now he's fighting a really, really good prospect who can expose him in the part like where he lost fight before. And a guy who was very improving and very, very hungry to win that fight. So I think Taira is going to win. I think he should be a slight favorite. So I play him at minus 105. What's the line now? It's minus 125. I still think there's some value on that. Like I capped him 60%. So yeah, I think he should be minus 150. So anything like minus 125 or better, I think it's decent for a bet. So yeah, I'm giving out some free bet on that podcast today, and same for James. So it's good for you guys. It's a good show.
Yeah,
so
profitable show for you guys, hopefully.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a big card, man. I have action on almost everything, like I said. So yeah, got to give some for the people. James, what you got on that one?
Yeah, I'm on Taira as well. Minus 122. James, what do you got?
Yeah, it's good for the people, but we're going against each other on a lot of fights, which isn't good. It's like, who are they going to choose? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, anyone can be right week to week. Like I said at the start of the podcast, it's a very tough fight, and I think, it's a very tough card, and I think the tough card is kind of encapsulated with this fight. Like, this is a tough fight, man. Taira versus Brandon Moreno is one of the toughest fights to predict. I mean, we can speak about it from both angles, which is kind of the entire card. Like, I don't think, like, even if you're on Taira, I don't think you're gonna like start heavily disagreeing with someone if they give you a Brandon Moreno breakdown, And it's like the same with me and Barber and Silva and Iwo and Ebo and like all of these fighters, even Blachowicz and Guskov, and to some degree, even fucking Cejudo Talbott, Cejudo up almost plus 300, It's like, and that's just the last few fights we've done. There's way closer fights than that. It's like, it's a very tough card, boys. A lot of minus 110 lines. or at least a lot of lines that probably should be about -110. This is a very good fight, boys. I think I'm maybe a little bit more on the Moreno side than Dravi. Moreno's just a very tough guy to hold down. And if we look at Taira's fight against Brandon Royval, which is probably the best comparison we have, because he ain't really fought a good level outside of Brandon Royval. He ain't really fought that many good guys. It's really Brandon Royval who's the top guy he's fought. If that was a 3-round fight, he almost got KO'd in the last round. He got dropped badly in that third round. He got dropped twice, which isn't a great look in my opinion. Brandon Royval doesn't really hurt or drop anyone outside of like spinning back elbows and stuff. And he hurt Taira in that fight. So I don't know about Taira's durability. We look back at the, was it the Chairez fight where he got dropped? I think it was Chairez, was it? Or there was one fight where he got dropped. I didn't actually rewatch that one.
Yeah, I think it was Chairez, but I don't think he actually got dropped against Royval, though. I think he got hurt on the feet, but he got dropped. I think it was against, against Chairez, he got dropped. Yeah, he got knocked down against Chairez. Yeah.
Chairez, yeah. No, but the Brandon Royval fight in round 3, bro, he almost got finished in that round. Like, he was hurt.
He got hurt. It was in round 3, yeah.
Yeah, twice as well. He got hurt badly in that fight. And I don't think that's a great look,
But he came back and won round 4, though.
Yeah, easily. And honestly, it could have been scored a 10-8 because he got so much grappling control. So it's like that's what I mean. Like, it's such a good fight because, it's a bad look that he got fucked up in round 3 by someone who doesn't hurt anyone outside of like back elbows. But then in the next round, he come back and he fucking dominated him, man. So it's like, I think Taira's a dog. I like his cardio, which is kind of crazy because he kind of gassed out in that fight. But I do like his cardio and his will to win. But I don't like his striking defense. I don't necessarily like his chin. Brandon Moreno is such an upper echelon fighter. He never gets held down against anybody unless they're the top grapplers in the division, which Taira is, So that's another caveat. It's like Brandon Moreno never gets held down by anyone except for Pantoja, really,
He even got good scrambles there too, though. So it's
even in that fight, but he did get the back taken for a while in that fight, and that's how Brandon won. That's how Pantoja won. But Taira is on that level. Like, to some degree, he kind of is on that level. So this is a tough fight, man. I feel like I just take plus money in this fight. If you're giving me plus 115 on Brandon, I'm going to take him. If you're giving me plus 115 on Taira, I might take him. So I don't have a strong take. I'm going to go with Brandon just to give a little bit of a pushback to the podcast currently. But at the end of the day, boys, this fight could go either way. I don't want to break down for 30 minutes because Dravi did a very, very good in-depth breakdown on that. So I agree with a lot of what he said. But I do think Brandon Moreno has a little bit of upside now sitting at plus money.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with Moreno at plus odds, right? End of the day. Card is stacked. He agrees with Joe about Taira's punching power being underrated. Yes, he's getting his striking, is improving. Banger, I think Taira wins, finds a takedown, finds a way to stop the scrambles like he did against Royval. I think Taira is the only one getting better. And honestly, I'm convinced he's the next champion.
I agree with that, Chem.
Great fight.
Love Moreno money line. That's what I love about these fights too. Even though we all disagree, that's what makes a good card. When you got to look at the card and be like, I don't know which fighter is going to win. Get upset. Sure, you lose some cash. But at the end of the day, it's a sick card. You get to talk about it later. So, I don't know. That's the way I look at it, at least.
I honestly can't think of a card this year. And maybe I'm just end of card bias, But I don't know if there's been a card this year where I can see either fighter winning 50-50 in every iteration. Like, this card is so good in terms of just like the
betting odds, everything.
I honestly think it could be the best card of the year. And it's almost the last card of the year, so we're lucky.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Co-main event in the evening. Like, comment, and subscribe. Alexandre Pantoja versus the People's Champ, Joshua Van. Josh Van, 15-2. Alexandre Pantoja, 30-5. Odds in these two gentlemen, you can get Pantoja at the nice price of -223. You can get Josh Van at +188, +200 on some books. All right, looking at this fight, I'll be straightforward. I have a 5-unit max bet on Alexandre Pantoja. People are like, wow, that's crazy. I took this bet the night Pantoja beat Kai France. I was on Pantoja there, and I think this fight looks very similar. Why? Not because of not anything because of Kai France. Great guy. I saw he recently is taking some years off. Hopefully he comes back. He's one of my favorites. But we're looking at a fight here with Joshua Van. Isn't that proven on the ground? We see him make dumb, low IQ decisions where he rolls for leg locks, things like that. We've never seen him on the mat against a high grappler like Alexandre Pantoja. And that, to me, is what stands, right? Because I go in the tape, and a lot of times I look at it, and I'm like, who's a guy that you could compare on the ground to who Josh Van's fought? We've seen Josh Van taken down by Bruno Silva, taken down by Rai Tesura. Rai Tesura, he was able to defend the takedowns a lot better, which is impressive. But there's a guy, if you go way back in the day, I think it was Devin Jackson, his first loss, was able to wet blanket him, right? Pantoja's going to do the same thing. I like Josh Van. Javi knows this is a Josh Van podcast. Anyone who watches the podcast knows we've bet Josh Van all the way up. But now's the time to hop off. Why? He's 24 years old. Will he be the champ at 28? Probably, depending on how much damage he takes. But right now, it's too much too soon. Pantoja's strong. He's the only guy at 35 years old that is still looking like he's getting better fight to fight. Extended, I mean, I got to give striking upsides, obviously, Joshua Van's boxing extent, but Pantoja still swings hard, and we've seen Josh Van rocked against Chires and knocked out against Charles Johnson. Pantoja can catch him here, but the odds are it's the sub. The thing about Pantoja is he doesn't shoot those generic, double legs, single legs. He's going to clinch you up against the cage, find a way to your back, drag you to the ground, trip you, things like that. He's very tricky. He's a champion for a reason. It's just, I think this is just too much too soon for him. You can't tell me you've seen Josh Van on the ground proven to the level of Pantoja on the feet. Late in the fight, sure. Josh, if we're going into round 4 and, Alexandre Pantoja's getting tired, he's going to have to dig deep. Josh Van's going to be swinging to the body, so I'm assuming the gas tank's going to get zapped a little bit more on the Pantoja side. I just don't think the fight even gets there. I think Pantoja finishes him within the first 3 rounds of the fight, probably by submission. What do you think, James?
This is another one, bro. This is another fight where it's like, it's a close fight, in my opinion. I know the odds don't say it, but I personally think it is a close fight. I don't know how you can be playing Pantoja money line. I think if you play Pantoja, you have to play submission. Yeah. You have to play submission round 1, round 2, round 3, or just the submission line. Look, man, I was on Royval against Van. I know you boys bet on
Van.
So you guys got me on that one. But I personally thought the fight might get into the grappling. Obviously, Royval not a good grappler and stuff, so he never could make it there. Pantoja, that's the grappler in the division, So I could definitely see him taking him down and submitting him in round 2 or round 1 even. But if he doesn't do that, like if he doesn't get the sub in the first 10 minutes, is he looking value at -250? I think there's no way. I think Joshua Van is coming on and putting the pressure on. He's a much better striker. I thought that Pantoja's looked to be gassed in a lot of these fights in his last 5 years and just managed to find a second gas, but I don't think that's going to really happen against someone like Joshua Van if he starts to get his game going, much like Manel Cape, who's fighting next week against Royval. I think is going to snowball into Van's type of game, and I think he's going to be the one winning the late rounds, 3, 4, 5. I also feel like Pantoja's striking defense at some point, even though it's flyweight, has to bite him in the arse. The guy has bad striking defense. He runs in with his hands down, throwing body shots like that. I mean, someone's going to crack him at some point. He hasn't really fought anyone that's been able to do it, but I think it will happen at some point. I think Joshua Van's a live underdog in this fight. I know the grappling is so much skewed in the favor of Pantoja. And if you look at Joshua Van's interviews recently, he's saying he's going to submit Pantoja. It's like delusional statements. Like, I like when a fighter's got a lot of confidence, but this is not even confidence. This is delusion, And I would say that the way he's talking about submitting Pantoja is actually moving to a negative rather than a positive, to which I would usually say slight delusion is a positive in life, in business, in entrepreneurship, in gambling, sometimes if you're good at it, and in fighting for sure, delusion is a positive. But it seems to me and I don't want to go too narrative based, but it seems to me that Joshua Van's delusion is almost bordering on a negative at this point. Like he might be so confident that he engages in the grappling, which he's done multiple times in the UFC. The guy is pulling a heel hook against fighters that are way better grapplers than him. I mean, this is delusion, boys. And if you do it against Pantoja, you're going to get your neck snapped up, in my opinion. So that's a bad look. But he's 24, 25. Like, he should be making massive improvements fight to fight. So I could speak about this fight for 30 minutes, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say that there's value on Joshua Van money line. There's probably value on Pantoja submission line. There's probably value on the fight doesn't go to decision. Like, there's a lot of ways I want to play this. I'm gonna be a little bit controversial and say Joshua Van gets it done, just to add a little bit of a spice to the breakdown. But it's a good fight, man. Obviously,
I like fight doesn't go too. I agree with that. I think someone's getting finished this fight. I don't think it's going to distance, to be honest. Either way, what do you think, Tuff?
Yeah, it's funny because it's actually a fight that I've gone back and forth on, and I text James about it. I was thinking I would bet Joshua Van. You know what's Joshua Van is one of my most profitable fighter in the UFC right now. I'm looking at it, and I've made 9 units betting his money line, and I've made 3 units betting his props. So, and he's not been in the UFC for a long time. So Eve made me 12 units in, not long time, not like 2 years period or something. So I like him. He's one of my favorite fighter in the division. He's a very fun guy. But like you said, he's cocky, he's arrogant, especially about the grappling. And I don't like what he said. Or what he said about the fact that if he goes to the ground, he's gonna submit him and stuff like that. And you can see that he's cocky about his grappling, because even in some fight, he's going for heel hook. He's doing a takedown when he should not and stuff like that. Against lower level guys, you can do that, and it might not cost you. But when you're going against the best of the best in the grappling, you can do that, because if you do, one mistake can be the fight. And against a guy like Pantoja, one of the things I can't get out of my head is, in this fight, at some point, Pantoja is going to get his back, because Pantoja get the back to everybody he's fighting, even guys like Brendan Moreno, who are very hard to control on the ground. So he's going to get the back at some point, right? And that's probably going to be early. And then when he's going to get the back, what's going to happen after that? You can be confident that Van's going to be able to survive. You can say you can be confident he won, but based on the levels in the grappling, we have like a blue belt versus one of the best black belt in the entire sport, when one of the best guy in the back position. So I tend to predict that he's going to submit him if he gets to that position, and I'm certain he's going to get to that position. And it's 25 minutes as well, right? So he's going to have 25 minutes to do it. I think he's going to do it early. Why? Because he's very aggressive early, and he gets to those positions early in almost every fight. So Pantoja is going to get the back, even though Van has good takedown defense. Even if he doesn't take him down, he can jump the back like he did against Brendan Moreno. So that's one thing about the grappling. And then on the feet, Van is better. Like, his boxing is very good. His body work is very nice. But there's 2 issues on the feet. Because if you want to say, yeah, okay, so Van is the better striker, he has better cardio, and he has good takedown defense. So he's going to defend early, outstriking and stuff like that. My other issue with that is Van has been hurt multiple times, and Pantoja has an iron chin with big power. So, like, what's to say if they strike for 25 minutes, Pantoja can't hurt him either. Like, Pantoja can hurt him. I think he can hurt him for sure. And if he hurt him, then what? He's going to jump on him and submit him, or he's going to TKO him, right? And it's hard for me to see Van dropping him, because Pantoja has an iron, like, elite durability. He can do it late with body work and stuff like that, but he's going to need to survive a lot of danger before that. And so I think Pantoja can knock him out on the feet. I think he can submit him if the fight goes to the ground. And if he go to distance, I'm going to trust the guy who's been 25 minutes and has been fighting the better guys for the longest, a little bit more with the grappling upside and stuff like that. But I do think late in this fight, Van's going to have his chances, because he's going to go to the body and Pantoja might slow down. But even when he's still down, Pantoja, he's a dog. He's never going to quit on himself. He finds second wins. He pushed through it and stuff like that. So I just think it's too much too soon for Van. Unfortunately, he's only 24 years old. So yeah, because he's going to get hurt, because he's a bit too cocky, not because he's going to get hurt, but because he can be hurt, because he's going to get his back taken in that fight. That's just a lot, man. That's a lot at 24 years old to beat one of the greatest flyweights of all time at the end of the day. Pantoja has been underrated in his last couple fight. You know, I've bet him against the Kaya Sakura guy, submission decision. I've bet him against Kai Kara-France, and it was kind of the same narrative against Kai Kara-France, right? Kai has good takedown defense, good boxing, and good power. His takedown defense didn't look good in that fight because Pantoja, the way he shoot his takedowns, it didn't matter, right? So even though he had good takedown defense, he took him down anyway. And Kai Kara-France has really good submission defense. That's proven, and he still got submitted. So yeah, man, I think he's gonna get him. And also, Pantoja used a very good uppercut, was the shot that Charles Johnson knocked out Joshua Van with. And he has a really good knee up the middle when people close the distance with the boxing, which is what Joshua Van is going to try to do. So that can be 2 weapons for Pantoja in this fight, which is going to be huge and a good weapon of his. So, yeah, I got Pantoja here. I think he's going to get him. But, yeah, it's a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to this one.
You think he's...
Oh, yeah, so also this. He's, like, everything he said is really bad, man.
It's not that it's bad. It's just, it shows... He's a 24-year-old man. Everyone has immaturity when they're 24 years old. You would be saying the same thing going into a title fight. You're nervous. It's the big stage. What are you going to say? I don't care what happens. I'm going to go in there and win the fight. You're 24, bro. It's just being a young man. It comes with age. I don't even think you're 24 yet. But someday when you get to my age, you'll understand. That's just called being a young man and not giving a fuck. And, like, obviously he has a game plan, but he's going to say shit like that. My boy, I think Van breaks Pantoja. Van equals retard community. There you go, James. You're right back with the rest of them. Van and Jan will lose. It's dog or pass. Just pass. Don't bet the elite fighters in the top 5 pound for pound. I love fight ends by KO. I like Pantoja by KO. That's why I avoided the subs. I think Pantoja's live for a KO as well. Pantoja is the GOAT. Good fight. Van's hands are great. Fast. He's gonna look good here. Pantoja, always great. The legend of Steve Kara-France. Yep, Kai Kara-France is good. Laid the chalk and played the violence minus 180. I don't think it goes to a distance either. I'm pretty sure we still got to pay in Canada for a couple more years. What are you guys paying for? The pay-per-views?
I'm talking about the shit because I don't think Paramount. I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch the fights on Paramount. I'm gonna try to get it with a VPN or some shit because on ESPN Plus in Canada, I didn't had the fucking fight, so I need to watch it, by other ways. So I'm gonna try to watch them on Paramount, but I've heard that they're not gonna have them in Canada for the UFC. I don't know why they're doing that. It's pretty dumb. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for the Paramount. We don't have that issue here in America. That's why you should move to America, Drive. Get out of Canada. I've been telling you that forever now. All right. Main event of the evening, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. 72 you guys watching, but we only got 32 likes, and we gained like 5 subs. We need more.
Come on. We need more than that.
Merab Dvalishvili versus Peter Yan. 19-5 versus 21-4. This is Merab's 4th or 5th fight of the year. This is a rematch fight where Peter Yan's hopefully healthy. Odds on this line, Peter Yan plus 315, Merab Dvalishvili minus 415. All right, guys, if you've been in the fight game for as long as I have, you bet on Peter Yan minus 140 versus Merab Dvalishvili because Peter Yan was career best at that point, and Merab, kind of a question mark. Merab set the takedown attempt record. I don't think he made a takedown record, but the takedown attempt record, Peter Yan threw 2 right hands the whole fight, and he was a favorite. Now you're telling me we're getting a healthy Peter Yan coming on a 3-fight win streak. Sure, he's a little bit older at this rate at 32, but Merab's older than him. And guess what? Now he's plus 3XX. I put 1 unit on Merab plus 380. If he dies, he dies. This is much like when Merab fought Sean O'Malley, and I bet him plus 340. Was I on when I was on Merab minus 110 against Sean O'Malley the first fight? Like Lucrative always says, I watch his videos every week. We're playing a number. We're not playing a fighter. And at plus 380, I don't really know how we're going to be able to, how you cannot play Peter Yan at plus 380 against pretty much anyone on this planet. He's so good. When you watch the way he gets takedowns, the way he stops takedowns, the way he strikes, the way he kicks, you name it, he does it. He's probably one of the best there is. I just don't understand how you can line him at plus 380. Take the dog shot. I don't see how it happens. I mean, I don't see anyone dying here either. So I guess goes to decision. I don't know what the over is, but that's probably fine too. But yeah, I'm on Petr Yan plus 380 here. Lucrative, give it to us. What do you think? You playing a number? Are you on the dog here?
Yeah, I was going to say like this is another fight where it's close. I guess it's not. But at the same time, I think this is another fight where you can disagree with the odds. You know, I mean, look, man, I could go in depth on this one. I don't want to keep, giving a take to fade Merab because I've done it with Corey Sandhagen. I've done it with Sean O'Malley. And I look like a retard, 3 times in a row. But because I've bet on Sean O'Malley twice. It's bad, man. I made bad bets. I have to own up to it. I made a bad bet. I look like an idiot. Merab is a big favorite in both of those fights. I didn't have value either time. And then Corey Sandhagen, to be honest, I think that fight was massively dramatically changed from that round 2, man. Corey Sandhagen won round 1 unanimous, or at least majority. And I really think the round 2 knockdown changed the entire trajectory of the fight, but I don't want to go in on it because obviously people think Merab's like minus $1 million in that fight, whatever. We'll move on. We'll move to Petr Yan fight. People are betting Petr. You say minus 140, minus 250, bruv. People are betting Petr Yan minus 250 against Merab, right? And now he's plus 350, So I think that Petr Yan could be a little bit washed. That's my worry about Petr Yan, to be honest. I don't think he looked great against Yadong Song or Marcus McGee. I really, really don't. But stylistically, Merab's not minus 500 here, which he's not minus 500 because Petr Yan can defend the takedowns, which we saw in the first fight. The biggest point I want to make in this fight is that Petr Yan was massively injured in that fight. That was clear for me to see. I think he had a pre-existing injury that got more injured in the first round because in the first round, he's defending the takedowns. He's actually throwing the right hand a lot more than he did in the rest of the fight. And he's looking all right. He's moving mobiles. In the second round and the third and fourth and fifth, he looks like a completely different human. So I think he got injured in round 1, lads. I really do. And if he's not injured, that shit's a 48, 47 type fight. Like, it's a close fight. Even in Merab's fights where he's winning. Sean O'Malley fight 1 was 48-47. Unanimous. Majority, right? Corey Sandhagen clearly won a round. Majority. And in my opinion, won another round. Even though he looked like he got dominated. So, and the Umar Nurmagomedov fight was 50-50 until 30 seconds left. So I kind of feel like Merab is looking dominant, but still only winning by 1 round in a lot of these fights. And so I feel like you have to take the shot on Yan. We're gamblers at the end of the day, boys. So we take the shot on these fighters that we think are going to lose. So we actually predicting Yan to lose, but we're betting on him. And I know a lot of people that are in the audience can't really understand that. But that's what we do at the end of the day. So I think Jan's going to lose, but I think having a 1 unit or 2 unit shot on him is kind of what you have to do. So that's my breakdown, boys. I could go in depth, but I'm not going to. I think Jan's the money line side. I think he's going to put on a much better performance than he did in the first fight.
Trav, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a weird fight, man. I mean, I don't have a strong read on it. I think Merab's going to win the decision probably, but I do think it's going to be closer in the first fight. And Jan right hand was injured in the first fight. If you watch that fight, I think he threw his right hands less than 10 times, probably like 5-6 times in the entire fight. And yeah, so there are some fights he was injured. Even the Song Yadong fight, he was injured. But if you look, the Marcus McGee fight, he looked fucking great. He looked in his prime in that fight. He looked career best. And that was his last fight. So I tend to think he's going to look great here. He's in very good shape, and he seems motivated to get that one back. And yeah, I'm not going to go out there and predict him to win and stuff like that. It's just not going to be honest. But the way I see it is, I think Merab's going to take him down, but I don't think Merab's going to control him. And I don't think that's going to be easy to take him down in every single round. And on the feet, Petr Yan is a better striker, but he might have some issues with Merab takedown threat and pace and pressures and stuff like that. But I can see Petr Yan trying to time those uppercut, those knees up the middle to stop Merab takedowns. And Petr Yan needs to pressure Merab for at least one or two of those rounds, because he's not going to win 50-45, 49-46. It's going to be like a close 48-47 fight, in my opinion. And I think the biggest difference between the first fight and this one, the first fight, they were both injured, but Jan was clearly looking worse because Merab looked very good. And it was also in a small cage, which favored Merab a lot with his style, with his pressure, with his takedowns game. So I think Peter Yan's going to put on a better performance this year. I think the big cage going to help him. I hope that he's healthy, he's in good shape, and that he can use both of his hands to try to win that fight against Merab Dvalishvili. So very, very good fight. Merab, if he wins this, he's probably one of the GOAT in the division, if not the GOAT already. Respect for him to try to be active like that, but at some point it might bite him in the ass. So it might be this weekend. There's value on Jan, but do you want to bet it or not? That's kind of the thing you need to, do you want to bet the value or just pass? Or I don't think you can be betting Merab at -400, but if you like Merab, maybe just bet the over. The over is decent parlay piece, I reckon.
What's the over at?
I think it's -300 or something. It's -400 actually. And people are actually betting the over in the Carini Silva versus Barber fight, which is kind of dumb. I don't know why the over 2.5 is -250 there. I don't know what people are thinking.
Who knows?
But yeah, anyway, maybe because it's the only girl fight on the card. Yeah, basically. Also I said that I will give some key picks for the main card.
Yeah.
So he likes. You think Merab's gonna win? You think Pantoja is gonna win? The Moreno fight, he leans Taira, but he's not confident. He likes Talbott, and he didn't give me his pick for the Blachowicz fight, but that's not his style. He wouldn't be betting that fight because of Jan's age. And he likes Barber.
What do you say for girls? He likes Barber.
Yeah, he likes Barber in that fight.
How many units did you go? Max bet?
He has 10 units on it, he told me.
Yeah, okay. He's got 10 units on Barber. All right, guys, that's the show. I mean, last pay-per-view a year. Do you want to give these guys a quick parlay? You just do money lines or total, something like that? Last card of the year?
We can cook something up.
All right. I'll go first. My leg is going to be... Give me I will Baranowski.
Okay, James, you can go next.
Okay, so I just give anything I want?
Yep.
Everything you want. Anything you want.
It's going to be ugly. I want to give Jalen Turner. Is that too chalky?
No, do it. That's fine. That was my pick originally, so that's correct.
We can do Turner ITD if you want on the river.
Yeah. It make me feel a little bit better.
It's minus 177.
Yeah, let me take that one, please, boys.
Okay, Ewo is -195. And okay, let me see.
Lock. This is a lock, boys, by the way.
We all like violence in the co-main event, right?
Yeah.
Van, one, yeah.
You like that as well, James?
Yeah, bro.
All right, so I'll go fight, don't go the distance. Pantoja Van.
What's the odds on that?
-167. So the parlay is Ewo, Turner inside the distance, and Pantoja Van fight, don't go the distance. It's +282.
Okay. All right. That's the show, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. Join our Discord. It's free. I give out all my bets for free in there, and we beat the line every time pretty much. Jobs in there talking. Everyone we talk fights, stuff like that. James, go ahead. Speak your shit. I mean, listen, you're up 200 a year. You can say whatever the fuck you want. What do you got going on, bro? How can people find you? Where can they find your bets?
I don't have Discord, bro, but I need to hop on the Discord, man, because I want to be in the Beat the Line Discord. Yeah, nothing to say, man. I appreciate you having me on, boys. As I say, I listen to the show basically every single week. So, to be on the show, it's a great privilege. Thank you very much for having me on, boys. Hopefully you guys crush it. I know all of you have crushed it this year. If anyone's watching, make sure you hit the like button, you subscribe to the boys. These guys are good guys, and hopefully we can do a podcast in person one day. And it's the end of the year, so maybe we can do like a little joint podcast. We should do Parlay Madness collaboration with Beat the Line.
Yeah, big panel.
And we can do fucking 6 or 7 man on the panel or something like that, and do a little fun podcast. Maybe give out some awards for the best bets of the year or something like that, boys.
I like that idea. That's a good idea. Cheers to that.
Down for that. Cheers to that, boys. Thanks for having me on again.
I'm down, bro. I'm down. So yeah, thanks for coming on, James. As always cool talking fight with you. Congrats on your year again.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna wish you too much luck on this card because we're on opposite sides, and I'm 14 units away from 100, so that's my goal. This card is my biggest card of the entire year. So if you guys want to have my bets, everything, odd shoppers, you can have all my link in my bio on Twitter. And since there's only 2 cards left, if you want a promo for only these last 2 cards, leave me a message on Twitter.
You gotta show me subscribe.
Screenshot. Just show me your subscribe. We're what now? We're at 96. Yeah, we're
at 963.
36 subscribers away from 1K. We want to reach that before the end of the year. We're going to have a very good guest for next week card as well. Going to try to have Key on for you guys. Sorry that he's not here. He's very busy. But he might try to be here next week. And for 2026, he's going to be back. It's just of a matter of his, his schedule with the coaching and shit. So it's not that he doesn't want to do the podcast anymore. He will be back. That's for sure. And thanks for watching. I'm going to see you guys next week. Last card of the year. But, we have the last pay-per-view of the entire UFC now. No pay-per-view after that. So cheers to that. And best of luck this week with your bet. And I hope you all crush it.
Signing out. Peace.
Peace.